Let's talk about Skyrim. For a game that's been out for over a decade, with over 60 million copies sold on nearly every console possible, how come such a popular game has less than 10% of players 100%ing its achievements? A lack of patience, diligence, and/or ADHD perhaps? Well, whatever it is, we set out to find out. Thanks to some inspiration and groundwork laid out by Edge Omega, we undertook this task, aiming for not just all 50 achievements in the base game, but also the 25 added from the 3 DLCs. But before we start, we'd like to mention these videos are recorded live over on Twitch, which you can find the link to along with the VOD archives down below. And hey, while you're down there, why not give the video a like? It goes a long way in helping us and these videos out. Now, where were we again? Oh, yes.
Hey, you're finally awake.
Indeed, and we already have the most important decision that will affect the entire game. Character creation. That's not a joke, by the way. The choices here do matter and will help us breeze through the early game and still have impact throughout the whole grind. By starting off as an orc, that racial power gives us a huge boost to our tankiness and DPS, making early challenging fights not a challenge, and unlike in the real world, choosing a female character will have some benefits to us during our time in the lands of Skyrim. And the choices aren't done yet. When it comes to choosing which of these pasty white guys we should trust to help us get out of here alive, both have decent pros and cons for who to choose. Railov gets us access to heavy armor sooner, as well as an easier time grinding, but Hadvar gives us a better jumpstart on the 100,000 gold we'll need to grind up for, so it's a tough choice. In the end, we decide to go with Hadvar for the long play, but also it'll feel so much more cathartic beating the shit out of one of the bastards who sent us to die for no reason. We also work on the 50 locks that we'll need to pick for Thief before we have a nice little chat with Hadvar in the cave underneath the keep. You see, in this cave, Hadvar gives you two options for dealing with the sleeping bear. You can 1. Sneak past it all sneaky like, or 2. Take a bow and try to shoot it before it can maul either of your faces. We, however, choose option 3, spending the next 10 or so minutes pounding into Hadvar's back with our weapons to ramp up our one-handed skill to around level 40. Doing this will help us get a good head start on keeping our damage output up, but also gets us our first achievement apprentice for hitting level 5. Now that we've escaped Helgen and earned Unbound for finishing the quest, it's time to make our way to the nearest town that's not on fire. We'll take a couple of detours along the way for some important items before heading on into the town of Riverwood. Our first stop is directly en route with the Guardian Stones. Taking one of these gives us a 20% XP boost to several skills, but also gets us blessed for getting a Standing Stone Blessing. After this, we keep heading west to this unmarked location. This is Moira. Moira is a fisherman who enjoys a simple life. We're going to rob Moira blind for all he's worth and also get a little more one-handed XP when we kill him. We promise there's a reason for doing this that will matter. Now, we'll wash away the blood on our hands as we cross the river to go meet this sweet old lady who happens to live alone in the woods. And the best part about living alone in the woods is there'll be no witnesses for the acts that we're about to commit. Look, it's just a little bit more murder, but mostly it's for this book. There are 90 of these skill books with multiple copies of each scattered throughout all of Skyrim, and Reader requires that we find and read 50 unique skill books. Now, unfortunately, while the game tracks which books you've read, the game won't tell you which books you've read, so we'll use this spreadsheet to manually track each one we read. There's also a locked basement here which contains an alchemy station where we can steal and mash a bunch of random ingredients together to make a potion, and learn that this kind old lady who lives in the woods is in fact a witch. So it turns out we did you all a favor. You're welcome. The last stop is just outside of Embershard Mine for this one wooden axe to chop some firewood. Don't worry, we'll be back here shortly to clear this place out, but for now we're on to Riverwood to power farm. Thanks to escaping with Hadvar, we can take all of Alvor's weapons, armor, food, and gold, both inside and out, borrow their cooking pot to cook up some cabbage and salt that we grabbed in Helgen, then sell everything back for even more gold. With this nice little nest egg of gold built up, it's time for some power farming from level 6 to almost triple that thanks to a small exploit that we can, exploit. It's time to talk about skill teachers. Skill teachers are found all over Skyrim and, for the right price, can help level up a specific skill up to 5 times per player level. Now, good old Faendal here happens to be able to level our archery up to level 50. Now, there's a bunch of complicated maths that you can do here, but going from skill level 15 to 50 will cost us just under 13 grand in gold. But we're going to do it all on a budget of under 600. See, when a skill teacher is given the money for a lesson, that gold will go right into their susceptible back pockets. What we're going to do with dear old called Faendal here, is pay him to teach us, steal the gold back, then use the same stolen gold to pay for the next tuition. By doing this, we can level up not only our archery, but also our pickpocketing skills simultaneously. Now, remember those Guardian Stones we saw before? Well, we chose the Thief Stone for a boost to leveling those sneak skills, which includes pickpocketing. So thanks to the mix of sneak and pickpocketing skills, we can constantly exploit Faendal for all his knowledge without spending a penny. It takes a little bit to get going, but once it starts, we breeze past level 10, swiping Adept along with our coin, and when all is said and done, we end up with level 71 pickpocketing, level 50 archery, and most of the way through level 16. Not too shabby for 14 minutes of work, eh? Now that we're sufficiently overleveled, we swap our Standing Stone for the Warrior Stone, then head back to Embershard Mine, where we bulldoze through every bandit in the mine without a second.
New hand touches the beacon.
Hello, Meridia. We'll get to you in a bit. First, we've got to mine up some ore to tick off Hard Worker, then haul some barely used weapons and armor to sell back at the Riverwood Trader. Turns out they're looking for someone to go retrieve a stolen item up in a dusty old crypt. The same dusty old crypt that we're going to head up to for another achievement and plot-related reasons, Bleak Falls Barrow. Thanks to our work with Hadvar, these beasties, bandits, and bag of bones aren't a problem for us to handle. We end up, acquiring the Golden Claw and inhale this weird wispy white smoke stuff from a wall that had some chanting in it. Whatever, that's probably not important. Guess we'll just loot up everything we can and bring back the claw to Lucan. We stop by the cabin again to make use of the enchanting table, getting 2 out of the 3 requirements for Artificer, then smith up a dagger to finish off that checklist and earn our 7th achievement in under 2 hours. But now it's time we leave Riverwood in search of bigger and better things. With the reward for returning the Golden Claw, we're sitting pretty at over 4,500 gold. That should be plenty to—
We're here to teach you a lesson.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of our actions. You're probably wondering why this is happening, so let me take a moment to explain. Remember Moira, or more specifically, what we did to Moira? Well, thanks to stealing all his salmon, he decided to pay 300 gold to send those thugs after us. Or so we thought. See, it turns out that Moira isn't actually this fisherman, they're just some unnamed schmuck. No, Moira is in fact a hag raven who happens to be the sister of Anis, and since we killed her and she found out, she then sent these thugs after us. Guess that means we didn't need to kill the fisherman in the end. Whoops. Either way though, this is all part of our 5,000 IQ plan. You see, we knew Moira would send these thugs after us, and this provides us with 3 full sets of steel armor, 300 gold, and an assortment of enchanted weapons. The perfect boost to our funds. Now we'll just go and take those. Oh, that's a Sparks weapon. I gotta be careful. Help me! Uh-oh. Right. We are okay. Oh shit! I have a plan. Faendal. Where's Faendal? Faendal! Meat shield, buddy! Friend, follow me, I need your help. I'm currently dying. Meat shield, let's go. Oh shit, Faendal's already down. Faendal's down. Oh boy, I'm almost down. Faendal, use your bow. Faendal, please. Okay, this is good. Ow. Yeah, these bastards have pretty ridiculous weapons, so I will— Hey, did you look at that? Well, that could have gone a little better, but still. That should be plenty to continue further north along the riverside paths, past the farming fields and into the city of Whiterun. The quaint and easygoing stroll doesn't go quite to plan. Ooh, hello. Ooh, that looks like a lot of good armor. Hang on a sec. Can I just— Okay, yeah, it gives us a little bit of a bounty, but that's okay. I don't care. Are you gonna be a witness? Are you gonna be a witness? You're gonna be a witness. Nah. Goodbye. Is it murder hobo-y? Sure. Do I need to do it anyway? Yeah, why not? Oh, hi. Oh, balls. I need to make it into Whiterun, and then I can do this next part. This is fine. Oh, no. Hi, don't— Uh-oh. No. Can I? No. Why are they— Oh, dear. Oh, thank f*** for that. Oh, boy. Hang on. No. Can I talk to you? I can't talk to them yet. Uh-oh. I need you. Just let me pay my fine. Please, let me pay my fine. This is not going well. No, don't use your bows. Oh, there are a lot of you. Why are there so many of you? After the guards finally get bored of chasing a meager 100 gold bounty, we get to enter Whiterun and immediately start scrounging up the 9 skill books dotted around the place, as well as finish up a very short side quest in the process. Next, we stroll up into Dragon's Reach, let Jarl Bolgriff know about this whole dragon business, then show Farengar this cool rock we found back in Bleak Falls Barrow, which gets us the achievement of the same name. Thanks to our obsessive hoarding, that's not a problem, we can stop whenever we want. Jarl Bolin lets us throw money at Preventus here to buy a house, which we'll happily do to get the citizen achievement. Or will we? It's time for another exploit. When purchasing a house, you'll need the required amount of gold in order to pay for it in the first place. But here's where things get a little funky. The game doesn't take this gold from you right away when you make the purchase. So you can rock up to one of these stewards with the money, accept the terms to buy the house, then quickly back out of the dialogue and throw all your money into a different container. Now, when the game gives you the house key, there's no gold to take from your inventory. And it's not just the house itself that you can do this with, you can do it with all the furnishings this way too. So thanks to Provolone's kind generosity, we have ourselves a nice little house with all its fittings for free, earning us the Citizen Achievement. But we're not really going to use this place since we are far too busy to settle down, get married and have a kid. We've got achievements to grind for after all. Now let's get married and have a kid. Since we own a homestead, we can find a couple of children begging around the cities. If we talk to one of them, we can offer to adopt them to come live with us. And while we think there maybe should be a little more paperwork involved with this, apparently this is all above board, so now we're a proud parent. Though we can't just leave this child running around unsupervised, no. We need to go get a partner to keep them safe while we go do everything else. Thankfully, like adoption, there's barely any effort involved with this. This is Uthgerd the Unbroken. After we repeatedly punch her in the face like she owes us money, she sees us as such a swell gal, she's more than happy to travel down to Riften with us, where we bribe the guard to let us in, then purchase the Skyrim equivalent of a coloured handkerchief. Uthgerd notices this hanky and takes us up on the offer of marriage, earning the achievement married after we finish our vows. Now Uthgerd can go back to our house, look after our kid, cook us food, and earn us free money while we're off gallivanting across Skyrim. While we still have this small bounty in Whiterun, we take the opportunity to break out of jail for another achievement. We find one of the guards and, inform them of our outstanding bounty and get thrown in the slammer. Now, our first breakout attempt went not great.
Whoa, 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 whoa! 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 Hang on. Maybe our sneak skill's not as good as I'd hoped. There we go. That's good. Uh-oh. This is very bad. The only reason I wanted to go that way is because technically all my stuff is here. Okay. You just hide. You can't see me. Good. Now we just leave. Now we just leave. Now we leave, now we leave. Where's all my stuff? Where's all my stuff? Where's all my stuff? Where's all my stuff? I don't know where my stuff is. This is not how you really need to do this, but this is, one way you can do it. Oh, wait, hang on. There's a better way to do this. I can go through from the thing, can't I?
But that's what quick saving is for. Since our sneaking skills aren't exactly the sneakiest, we take the underground passageway to our equipment, grab all our stuff, and then walk out for wanted. You'd think these 3 hours would be all the prep work we need to do, but no. We're not even close to done. See, when we visited Farengar, we took the time to rifle through his collection of books and found one called The Ethereum Wars. Now, we didn't actually read it, but it does give us the quest to investigate hang on a second.
Arnfams.
Yeah, that place. So it's off trekking into the wilderness again we go. We'll grab a cart over to Markarth, then swing by the miners for another side quest and head northeast to the Loverstone and Kolskegger mine. This place has an abundance of gold, so we clear the place out of both pesky Forsworn and all the gold for use later on. Once we have these locations on the map, we follow the river down south and nab a selection of flawless jewels, including a flawless diamond and flawless ruby, which, much like the gold, will be useful later on, before winding our way down and around to that place with a name we can't pronounce. Inside this sprawling ruin, we find the ghost of a dead explorer who insists on following us around in here. Something about stolen research and some material the Dwemer used to use, but it's all been lost to the ages. Ah, that's clever. It's like the name of the quest. This place isn't the easiest for us to deal with, but through the tried and true method of repeatedly banging our heads against the wall, we clear through and find half a dinner plate that's apparently made out of that incredibly hard to find material. And with that, it's up to us to travel the four corners of Skyrim in search of this incredibly elusive and rare resource. Surely after all these years of study sunk into finding this stuff, these locations must be hidden incredibly well. I mean, it's not like we'll just walk up and find this stuff out in the open behind a table or behind a single locked door, right? The first location we're headed to is outside, right behind this table at Deepfolk Crossing. We stop by this guy who tells us if we make the literal dankest bong water, then we'll be able to speak with some Daedric prince, but right now we've got more important things to attend to. With 2 pieces down and 2 to go, we set out for the third location of Ethereum in the snowy peaks of the Southern Pale, Ralbathar. And while we may be able to pronounce this place easier, getting through this place easier isn't quite the same. Several deaths later aside, we clear through the bandits and Falmer encampments and bum rush the Centurion using our Berserker rage since our fleshy squishy parts do not enjoy searing steam or concussions. Again, Katria meets up with us and congratulates us on just how awesome we are, just as it was there in the subtext, before she poofs out for the final piece. Along the way down, we pass down the southeast mountainside, past Gallows Rock, through Mara's Eye Pond for some vampire dust and another skill book, as well as a few other spots with several more skill books and a free horse to carry us to the storeroom of Mizulft, where a single locked door is all that separates us from another chunk of the supposedly incredibly hard to find material. Seriously, how do you travel across Skyrim for 25 years and not find this, Katria? Instead of giving us an answer, she poofs out in embarrassment down to the forge's location. We stop off down in Riften to unload a bunch of our loot, and then, given our relative wealth, we invest in a horse just to make our journey across the west to the ruins of Beds Bethalft and beyond a faster and easier time. After affixing the 4 parts of the blue dinner plate to what looks like a fancy sundial, we descend far deeper than we've ever been before, apparently, to the forge. Here, we spend the next few minutes fighting wave after wave of slightly different but visually indistinguishable enemies before the Forge Master shows up. And the sight of this hulking behemoth charging out of the magma was somewhat threatening, but we kept it cool, played it calm and collected, chucking down whatever potions we had and wildly swinging at it until it died. With things settled down and the forge now ours, we take the Ethereum we gathered and create one of the most broken items in the entire game, the Ethereum Crown. With the crown made, Katria thanks us for fulfilling her longer than lifelong mission and poofs away one last time. And this brief 2.5-hour quest is finished and rewards us with Lost to the Ages for our troubles. But, as we alluded to, the real reward here is the crown. The Ethereum Crown has a unique enchantment that allows us to carry a second Standing Stone Blessing as long as we're wearing it. So, with the Warrior Stone and now the Lover Stone Blessing, we have a 35% increase to all our most important skills and a 15% boost to everything else. Considering we have to hit the staggeringly high level of 78, we'll take all the help we can get. Now, you might be forgiven for thinking that these 5 hours were all the preparations we'd need to do, but there are still 2 useful items we'll want to acquire to not only make exploration easier, but also to start working on getting the 15 Daedric artifacts for, you guessed it, another achievement. So remember that bong water we got tasked with making? Well, during our travels here, there, and every bloody where to get the last quest done, we were able to gather the materials we needed. We take the fattest rip, start tripping bulls, and then talk to the rat guy who tells us to go to Barthadism, another cocking dwemer room with a name we can barely pronounce, in order to kill this one guy who has apparently pissed off said rat god. In return, we're promised an escutcheon that'll help against both magic and melee attacks. This exact quest also highlights the reason why we're doing it now. Our health bar melts to magic attacks before we can close the gap, and it happens several times before we can give Orchestra a severe case of not breathing, but our tried and true methods see us through to their chambers where we can administer the only cure. Returning to the rat god, we claim our reward Spellbreaker, which creates a ward when using it, and that'll help take the edge off magic attacks. We also get Daedric Influence for getting our first Daedric artifact. Now that we've got our defense sorted out, let's fix up our offense. One trip over to Solitude later, and we return the beacon from back in Embershard Mine to the Temple of Merida at Mount Kilcreath. We get flung up several hundred feet into the air and have a conversation with this strikingly familiar looking orb. The orb tells us that, just like the rat god, someone's gone and pissed them off, so it's up to us to go do some more killing again. This time we get to send this beam of light throughout the temple so we can progress through the locked doors. We also take the time to pilfer the incredible amount of gold found on all these corpses. Look, they ain't using it anymore, so it might as well go to a good cause. We find Malkaron in the deepest chamber, and just like with every other mini-boss we've fought so far, we bust out the Berserker Rage and dual wielding to rip through both phases as fast as possible, then mop up the rest of the ads in the room. We walk out with a fancy new sword, the thanks of another Daedric Prince, and an extra 3 grand for our troubles. But this sword doesn't look all that strong. Hell, the base damage is only 1 higher than an elven sword. Well, you see, much like the crown atop our head, the enchantment is where it earns its keep. A basic burn on enemies is nothing special, but if the enemy is undead, it can explode out into a shockwave on death, doing damage to any undead, but also turning them, making it a fantastic crowd control weapon. Now include the fact that most enemies will be facing our undead in cramped spaces, and Dawnbreaker stands head and shoulders over anything else we could get as early as level 12. So we've got the sword, we've got the shield, we've even got some fancy ebony armor too. So now it's time to travel to an entire new region for 3 more items that have marginal benefit at best. Yes, the plan was to get this stuff later, but the sooner we get these done, the longer we had the benefits from these, benefits. So it's back on over to the Windhelm stables and a quick dive over to the docks. We talk to this captain and set sail there and then to the ash-smothered land of Solstheim, which gets us Outlander for reaching Raven Rock. Now that we're here in mini Skyrim, we're going for 3 out of the 5 black books we need. The first we're after is the Winds of Change, which can be found at the end of Bloodskull Barrow. To get through this, we'll speak with the smith who lent a special pickaxe he wants back from this old miner. And that old geezer also happens to be obsessing over some conspiracy theory involving a company covering up the death of his great-grandfather. But that's crazy. I mean, come on. I mean, a company would never try to cover up their negligence and endangerment of innocent civilians or workers. No. They'd rather just have that whistleblower killed. So we offer to clear up this mess by exploring Raven Rock Mine for old Greasy Creasy, where we find the remains of the dude, alongside a rather awesome looking blade. One simple puzzle and fight against a mini-boss who's an absolute bastard who just floats over the water, making him impossible to attack with melee unless you break his AI, so he just stands there until he disintegrates later, and we get the black book we came here for. Now, you know how people say books are a world of endless possibilities? Well, these books are just like that, only all the possibilities involve multiple floating eyeballs and thick tendrils that whip you if you get too close. And while this might be an upside and benefit enough for some, the real reason we're here is for completing what's at the end of these maze and puzzle-like dungeons. These rewards offer one of 3 powers similar to the Standing Stones. We take the Lover's Insight, which gives us 10% more damage and better prices to people of the opposite sex. Since nearly every enemy in the game, and most of the merchants will be dealing with a male, having picked a female orc is a straight-up positive for us, just like we said it'd be. Next comes the start of a pricey investment. While making our way out east of Raven Rock, this sad sack here is trying to dig out an entire tomb single-handedly, all in search of some rare antiques. Sadly, what with the whole volcano spewing ash everywhere, the process has been slow to say the least. We're offered a partnership and share of profits if we throw some coin his way to hire some miners now, and we oblige. Not because we really want to, but because we happen to know there's a black book buried here. It'll take some time for things to get moving here with Rallis, so let's come back later. For now, we're gonna head further north, past several rather deadly encounters with the locals, to White Ridge Barrow. This spider-infested ruin houses quite the assortment of interesting things. Spiders that burn you, spiders that explode, spiders that can mind control. Okay, so it's mostly the spiders and the insane scholar who's been breeding them. But tucked away down in the depths of the sanctum, we find the Shallow Regent Black Book being guarded by another dragon priest who also floats dumbfoundedly before us as we wail away on them. At the end of the book is another boon for us, and we choose the obvious option of an extra 10% damage for all our combat skills. Quite the fine addition that we got there. We've still got some time to kill now while we wait for any news from the mining crew. And what better a way to use it than by increasing our capital, since we'll need a whopping 11,000 gold to invest into what is definitely a worthwhile use of our money. Trust us guys, these Nordic funeral tunnels are the next big thing. So how are we gonna get this money then? Work hard at a steady job to climb our way up a corporate ladder like the rich tell us to do? Steal the money of the people trying to just earn a living like the rich actually do? Nah. We're gonna completely crash the economy like the really rich do. Remember all that gold we mined back in Kolskegger and the flawless diamond we picked up around the same time? Well, that later on is now. We're going to double up this economy exploding escapade with a smidge more power farming. First, we're going to turn this 1 diamond into 33 via a small oversight left in by the devs. Now, we have no idea how this works, but by dropping items on the ground and having a follower pick them up, then leaving the location and fast traveling back, the dropped items will appear back on the floor, but also in your follower's inventory. And the more items you have, the more you can dupe, so you can end up with a silly amount of items in a very little time. With our materials collected, we use them to craft up 31 diamond necklaces that take us up to level 48 smithing and provide us with over 37,000 gold, and enough XP to tick over to level 25 and get the expert achievement. We head back to Raven Rock and start selling the necklaces while waiting to pass the days and reset the vendor's gold supplies and give Rallis more time to unearth that Nordic funeral tunnel. Eventually, he was kind enough to give us a note letting us know there's been a small problem. All the miners are dead. Apparently, there's a bunch of Draugr in the Barrow that killed everyone except Rallis, and that's now our problem. We clear out the handful down in the Barrow and grab some nice boots for our troubles, then pay another 2,000 gold to hire some more miners to keep the digging going. We rinse and repeat with the smithing of another 40 necklaces and 19 smithing levels while waiting for any news, and lo and behold, he sends us another letter requesting us to come see him. Turns out this Draugr-filled Barrow is filled with, get this, even more Draugr. And guess what they did to the new miners? Yeah. Guess we're doing this again. Now we'll have to hire even more miners and get them some mercenary guards so this doesn't happen again for 3,000 gold. A couple of days selling necklaces later, and guess what happened at the excavation site this time? If you said the miners are dead again, then you'd almost be right. It's the mercenaries this time, so at least there's that silver lining. If you're not one of the mercenaries. So you know the drill by now. Kill the Draugr, pay another 5 grand to Rallis, wait and repeat. Turns out Rallis might have been the real cause of all those deaths before, all to resurrect another one of these asshats. But finally, after dealing with that kerfuffle, we can go and collect the last of the black books we've been after, Filament and Filigree, whose buff gives us an unlimited stamina for 30 seconds. It's not the most useful, but combined with the Berserker Rage, it has its moments. So we're finally done with our preparations, and it only took us 10 hours. We'll be back to Stolstein a little bit later on, but for now, we're heading back to Skyrim so we can continue with the rest of the game proper. Back in business in Whiterun, before we set out on our rather lengthy tangents, there were warnings of a dragon sighting at the Western Watchtower. Since we've had dealings with the dragon before and lived to tell the tale, Bolin asks us to go and help. We didn't bother trying to tell him that we'd only really run away from the dragon for a few moments and actually spent most of our time fighting through the keep. Instead, we just meet up with the scouting party and find a single guard remaining. Our peaceful interlude is short-lived as the dragon comes back, and given our experience, we know exactly what to do. Let someone else deal with it. Well, to be fair, there's not anything we really can do while it's still flying around except hide behind Spellbreaker. Once the bastard does land, however, thanks to all that prep we did, this dragon is a dragon in a matter of seconds. Then, just like that weird vape wall, we suck some wispy shit from the dragon as its skin disintegrates. Now we can throw out such a powerful smoke ring it literally knocks people back. Neat! Apparently, this is a trick so difficult to perform that only those who've spent their entire life dedicated to learning it, or those with the blood of a dragon in them, can pull it off. So that's also neat! Back in Dragon's Reach to give Bolin a sitrep on the encounter, he lets us know that the weird voices we thought were just in our head were in fact some group called the Greybeards summoning us to their crib. So we've got our next destination then, Ivarstead. Normally it's quite the trek around from Whiterun, but thankfully it's just a short trip north from the Ethereum Forge, so we're in the quaint little town in no time. Ivarstead has a couple things that are worth a mention here. First thing we do is a quick little side quest lifting the shroud, where we explore a barrow that's nearby. It's nothing too time consuming and it gets us another one of these side quests done for the achievement and another smoke trick. Then there's Kilmech. Kilmech is a kind soul who often delivered supplies to the Greybeards, but due to old age catching up with him, he's not able to do it anymore. So we take the supplies since we're heading up that way anyway. There's also Barknar, who we'll be spending a lot of time with, getting very intimate with his back pocket. That's not a euphemism. We're going to be repeatedly pickpocketing his items, then placing more back in to keep taking them off of him. Just doing this gets us the 50 pickpocketing we need for Thief. This isn't the last time we'll be putting things in and out of an inventory though. For after we climb up most of the way up the damn mountain, we can see that donation box for the supplies that we've brought up here. Now by constantly putting these supplies in and out of the box, this counts as completing a miscellaneous quest. Once we've done 50 of those, we unlock Hero of the People. Once inside High Hrothgar, we meet the 4 Greybeards who are aptly named, and they teach us some more advanced smoke tricks and earn us the Way of the Voice achievement. They also volunteer to help us learn how to sneak better by letting us stab them in the back over and over again, but only a little bit of stabbing here. We don't want to go too far here now. Before we head out towards Ustengrav and collect some MacGuffin for the Greybeards, these 2 cultists try and jump us all because we know how to do those smoke tricks. Well, I guess we'll put a pin in that mess for later. We've got to head into another one of those crypts to find this horn thing. The Greybeards never tell us exactly why they want it, but I'm pretty sure it's not just because it's some ancient artifact. Annoyingly though, someone else has already gone and pinched the bastarding thing, leaving us with just a note about renting the attic room in Riverwood. Fine, whatever. Let's go all the way back to Riverwood where, as it turns out, the owner of the inn is actually part of some ancient secret organization that used to be dragon hunters. And since the dragon population has expanded from 0 to a whole load of them that are coming back from the dead, and we can pretty much suck the soul out of any dragon, she wanted to find us to try and get our help. Delphine wants us to trudge all the way out to bloody Kynesgrove just to test a little theory of hers. And you know what, honestly, with all this back and forth of hers, she can bugger off and wait there for us while we go do something something far more important, like learning the last word of power in Unrelenting Force to earn the Words of Power achievement for learning all 3 words in a shout. Now it's time for another tangent over in Whiterun, specifically Jorvaska, where we can go join up with the warriors of the Companions. It's not the most glamorous of starts, but it gets us taking up arms for joining. Shortly after joining, the Companions end up learning of some broken bits of a battle axe that used to belong to the guy who founded the Companions, so as a means to test us, they've sent us out with Farkas to go find them. Inside Dustman's cairn, we might have accidentally gotten ourselves stuck, but we got Farkas, he'll give us a hand here. Unleashing one of the 2 wolves trapped inside of him, Farkas reveals to us that he, along with many other members of the Companions, are all furries. But instead of using this fantastic power to help us clear out the rest of the dungeon, instead he decides to plod back along in his basic bitch form. Couple short disputes with the Silver Hand later, and we're back in Jorvaska with Farkas breaking us up to the rest of the Companions, and not mentioning the multiple times that we got our ass handed to us. One quick last quest from Ayala, and we seem like such a cool lass that we're invited to get our very own fursuit made. We drink from the underground Kool-Aid fountain, and just like that, we have a fursuit of our own to earn Blood Oath. Now we can frolic in the fields and yiff to our heart's content.
Hey, I don't think that means what you think it means.
Yeah, you know, yiffing. You know, when you jump on someone and...
It means that...
Wait, it means what? Now we can frolic in the fields and glump to our heart's content. With the werewolf transformation, there is now a brand new skill tree, and we need to unlock every single one of the perks. But unlike the other skill trees, we'll need to feed on people to get these perk points. And by a few people, we mean 164. So we're gonna want to be using this form as much as possible so we can feed as much as possible. The trouble is, as a werewolf, we get no skill experience. So we'll need to kill everyone as normal, then transform to eat all of the hearts before we turn back, and do this every single time we clear out a location. But we can only transform once a day, so we'll have to wait a full 24 hours each time we want to do this. Thankfully though, there's an item that can help with this. That's right, it's time for a tangent within a tangent. Instead of heading into Gallows Rock, we're going down to Falkreath for a couple things on our to-do list. First off is having a quick chat with a guy locked down in the well. He's also a werewolf, but managed to piss off the Daedric Prince Hercene, so he's in a spot of bother, what with the whole bloodlust and killing kids shtick. So he hands us a ring, tells us to go kill some magical beast, and skedaddles on out of there. While out on the hunt for this stag, we clear out Embershard Mine again to make Jarl Sigurd happy enough with us to let us purchase land in his hold for landowner. So back into the wilderness, snacking on a few bandits along the way, we track down this white stag to most of the way up a damn mountain before doing what comes easiest. With the beast laying slain before us, Hercene, the Daedric Prince of the Hunt, commends us on our fine hunting skills. Yeah, we weren't totally just following a quest marker, and informs us that whichever hunter slays Sinding will become his champion and earn all the rewards that come with it. Now we're left with a choice. Do we kill the man who wants nothing more than to be a better person, appeasing the Daedric Prince, or do we refuse and turn on the prince and kill his hunters? The answer is actually both. First we head on in, side with Sinding to clear out the hunting party, and then, before Sinding can so much as finish his thanks, we also kill him. At this point the game gets a wee bit confused, since we've completed both branching paths to this quest, resulting in Hercene giving us the Saviour's Hide inside Bloated Man's Grotto. Now when we leave, Hercene shows up again and congratulates us on turning the hunters into the hunted, and removes the curse from his ring and gifts it to us. Now with both the hide and the ring, that's 2 more artifacts for the collection and unlimited werewolf transformations a day. Now we can head back to Gallows Rock, where the Silverhand members serve themselves up on an appropriate silver platter for us. The Skinner does live up to their name, but then we remember the entire reason for picking an orc and use Berserker Rage to demolish her. Sadly, and for reasons that totally don't involve us ditching him to single-handedly fight an entire base of werewolf hunters alone, Skjold did not survive his assault. Well, waste not, want not. I mean, that's one more body to add to the list for werewolf perk points, along with everyone else here. But distraught at the loss of such a fine warrior and close friend, Ayala sends us off to clear out another Silverhand group. We pick up the location of the Atronach Stone on the way, and then glomp through the lot of them, as well as Traver's Watch, because 164 hearts is a lot, and this is a decent location with skill books, a side quest, and lots of tasty bodies. Thankfully, there are still plenty of Silverhand out there for us to nom on, and there's even another fragment being held by another of these groups. So, you know the drill by now. Show up, fuck up, and eat up everyone in the ruins, grab our piece of the MacGuffin, then head back to celebrate with the companions. After all this carnage we've been causing, the companions' leader, Codlac Greymuzzle, has caught wind of our deeds and would like a word with us. He lets us learn of the ancient secrets of how the companions became furries some 500 years ago, and how the wolves inside of them make them too cringe to be able to enter Sovngarde on their deaths. Because of this, Codlac wishes to renounce the ways of the furry with our help. We're now tasked with bringing him the heads of the Glenmore Coven, the fursuit company that made the first fursuits for the companions. We take on this task, bringing a sweet sense of irony to the job using our werewolf powers to collect all 5 heads for Codlac and anyone else who wishes to renounce their furry ways. With a sack full of heads in our inventory, we briefly detour up to Dragon's Reach before returning to Jorvaska, just in order to offer our worldly wisdom as a therapist to Jarl Borland's youngest bastard of a son who's been acting rather off lately. He lets us know that in the basement is someone who's been whispering secrets to him. We go to check this out and find out there's something incredibly powerful in that room, but the door is locked. Well, that's nothing that breaking the game can't solve.
Technically, you can, there's a thing called wall clipping. This game is very well made. Let's put it this way. If I take, hang on, I'm kind of stuck in, I'm stuck here. So let me just get out from, I'm actually stuck here because of the sack. Hang on, I got an idea. I literally am stuck here. Oh, no. Come on, please. Let me get down. Let me get down. How? I was trying to show the game how it's broken, but not in this way. I'm literally stuck. Oh, no.
Okay, fine then. We'll just pickpocket the key and do this the boring way and grab the Daedric weapon, the Ebony Blade. Anywho, let's get back to see Codlac and celebrate our success with the Glenmore Whoa. What's with the atmosphere here? You'd have thought someone had died. Alright, well that one is definitely not our fault. Turns out that all the attacks on the Silver Hand might have pissed them off, so they finally decided to attack Jorvaska and steal all the weapon fragments that we'd been collecting. So now it's up to Vilkas and I to go get them back, and maybe wet out everyone at their headquarters while we're there. One carriage trip up to Dawnstar, then southeast through the Imperial Imperial Encampment, and Driftshade Refuge is in our sights. Honestly though, we're running out of ways to describe us killing everyone and everything inside the place, so instead, we're just gonna let you assume that when we walk into a place like this, everyone living inside will end up not living anymore. We return to Codlac's funeral and hand over the collection of fragments to Jorland, including the hidden piece in Codlac's quarters, before heading down under the forge to the Underforge for the wake, where the other 3 furries debate on what should happen now. Now forced to forever suffer in the afterlife as a furry and unable to enter Sovngarde, it's decided that we must travel to Ysgramor's tomb in order to free Kodek from the cringeness of his past. But in order to enter, we'll need Wuthrad, and it's all in pieces! It's just not possible to— oh, would you look at that, it's been reforged. Guess we can fix it after all. On the trip up north to the northern north, we do our good deed for the day and help out this funny little man with a broken wagon, then meet the rest of the trio out in the middle of the damn frozen wastes of Winterhold. Now, remember back with the Hursine quest and how we broke that? Well, this quest is gonna do something kinda similar, only not intended. Or helpful. First off, it turns out that even though they're ghosts and invisible, as long as we're fast enough, you can actually eat the ghosts as a werewolf, which is fantastic, as this gets us so much closer to that magical 164 we need. That would be the case if Velcro and Fuckass didn't decide to try and murder us the whole bloody time. See, they're both apparently considered guards by the game, and seeing us turn into a werewolf, even though they are werewolves themselves, will turn them hostile to us. But after surviving through all of this, the juggling between getting ghost hearts and trying not to get slaughtered, we break the quest. After beating to death the wolf inside of Kodek as a werewolf, this makes him hostile towards us, which also stops us from being able to talk to him afterwards and finishing the bloody quest! Now we've got to do the whole thing all over again. So, after far too long of trying to perform the miracle we'd done before, we give up on trying to get the ghost hearts and settle for two-shotting Kodek's wolf the normal way. After this, they feel gracious enough to talk to us, where he thanks us and makes us the leader of the companions because, yes, finishing this quest also gives us Glory of the Dead and the end of the companions storyline. Sadly, while we might be done with the companions, we're still 2 perk points off from finishing the werewolf perk tree. Guess that means it's time for indiscriminate killing on our way to Kynesgrove. Unfortunately, the townsfolk of Iverstead all seem to be considered essential by the game, but the same can't be said for the guards, or the people of Kynesgrove. We give the werewolf a try against the dragon, and the poor bastard doesn't even get to finish resurrecting before he's already killed again. We pop inside the local mine just to make sure there are no witnesses, then detransform to learn from Deli that some werewolf just tore through the whole place and took out the dragon. So, having confirmed that dragons are coming back to life and seeing it happen firsthand, Deli took one look at the giant black dragon performing said resurrection and thinks that obviously, it must be the Thalmor who are behind these dragon attacks. I mean, who else could it be? But we'll need to break into the Thalmor embassy in order to find proof of this wild accusation of hers. Deli heads back to Riverwood and leaves us to find some outlet for this anger at her incredible level of stupidity, which just so happens to be going to Nazulbar, where we get the last hearts we need for Werewolf Master. Now we can never touch this transformation again. Stopping back home to say hi to the wife and kid, we swap out our armor for the ebony armor, then go test our patience with Deli again, as she tells us that we're going to be the ones who have to do the whole espionage escapade. The plan is pretty... what's the opposite of watertight? We're going to take a fake letter of invitation to a party at the embassy after tampering with the guest list so that we're on there. After we're in, we'll sneak out, break into the rest of the embassy, then ransack the place trying to find some kind of proof that might exist. Oh, this can only go well. Deli gives us the name of an inside agent to help with all this setup, so we don't have too much to worry about. We head into Solitude for the first time, and while everyone is distracted with the execution, talk out in the open with Malborn about the plan in front of anyone else who could be listening in. He tells us that he can smuggle in some stuff into the embassy, but it should only be the really important stuff that's 100% required for the mission. Anything else can be given to Deli for safekeeping. Naturally, we hand over everything that isn't a quest item, then go get some new getup from Deli. Once at the embassy, we're greeted at the door by the ambassador of the Thalmor and hostess of this party. Malibu thankfully bails us out before we blow our cover, and now we've just got to make a subtle distraction so nobody will notice us leaving. Happily, the alcoholic and our soon-to-be new best friend, Raislin, is more than up for causing a scene after we hand him a bottle, and his cussing out of Elwen is exactly what we need to get through the kitchen to all our gear. Now, with all our practice of tactical espionage and infiltration with Solid Snake, we make it through the rest of the embassy with no witnesses to tell of our presence at all. Surprise, surprise, turns out the Thalmor also have no clue on what any of this dragon business is about, but they're pretty sure it's got to be those blade fuckers, because who else could it be? They do have some documents on some supposed surviving members of the Blades, and right as we're about to leave, the bastard Malibu went and got himself captured, so our flawless mission now has a stain on it. Thankfully, nobody still knows our identity, and we make sure it stays that way here at the embassy. But for all our troubles of getting this information, Deli then has the gall to not even believe us at first. It isn't until the mention of some old tosser named Esbern that she whips up a fun new plan to find him to help us. Guess we're off to Riften now. So, back down in Riften, we're going to need to do some digging and asking around. Rumors, hearsay, blind guesses, anything that might be useful information on this elusive Esbern character. After all, if the Thalmor have had a hard time fighting this guy, we're not just going to bump into someone who knows exactly who he is and where he's hiding. The second we enter the inn, Brynjolf approaches us with a proposition. He's in need of an extra pair of hands for a small job tomorrow, and right here in the middle of a tavern with a complete stranger seems the best place to discuss these shady dealings. After our chance arrangement is complete, Brynjolf is so impressed with our performance that not only does he tell us exactly who Egbert is and where he's hiding, but also his little club, which hangs out in said sewers, might just have an opening for a new member. Now, the Radaways are a series of complicated, grimy tunnels filled with even grimier residents, but with one well-placed whirlwind sprint, we can skip the entire area, then lower the shortcut bridge and head right on into the Ragged Flagon. Inside the flagon, perched innocuously on this bench, is a lady with a rather unique talent to resculpt a person's face, all for the low cost of 1,000 gold. Now, despite this having no practical use whatsoever to us, we do have to throw 1,000 gold her way for the achievement A New You. While we're here, we have a quick chat with Brynjolf, who offers us a position in definitely not the Skyrim Mafia that isn't running shakedowns on the local businesses. However, our first job is to shake down 3 shopkeepers who haven't paid the guild money, and we need to send a message that this isn't on. We'll get to this later. Now at the back of the flagon, living amongst the others, we find one man with an incredibly fortified door. When we talk to him, he says he's not Esbern and doesn't know who he is, but the name above the subtitles says otherwise. We give him the magic words that Deli mentioned to us, and he's suddenly now more than happy to talk to us. According to the old geezer, it's the end of the world as we know it, and better yet, there's nothing anyone can do about it. Alduin has returned, and there is no way we can stop him. If only there was a Dragonborn who could suck the soul out of a dragon around. Oh, that would be oh so useful right about now. With his elation at learning of our Dragonborn status, Egbert asks us to ferry the old codger back to Riverwood to see Delhi, where we get told we need more information. A home of the ancient Akaviri people called Skyhaven Temple, a place lost and forgotten about for thousands of years. A place that, conveniently, he just so happens to know the location of. It's all the way out in the middle of the bloody reach, so the plan is simple. Fast travel out to Kolskegger Mine, then take a swim down and around to find the entrance. Piece of piss.
Uh-oh. Oh, there's a fucking dragon. Of course there is. Come on. Land your ass, please. Hang on. He's gonna be a dick, isn't he? You gonna be a dick, Elder Dragon? Could you land somewhere so I can start beating the shit out of you? Actually, no, I do have a bow. I kept the bow specifically for this issue. I've got a single arrow. Fuck. Oh, now you son of a bitch. Hang on a sec. Now then. Now. There we go. No, don't you fucking do that. Land. Thank you. And die. There is another dragon, which is good. That's actually good for us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're fighting that. Let them fight the dragon as much as I can. Oh, hi, buddy. Hey, how you doing? They don't care about me, which is great. I'm real happy for them now. Can I just... Yeah, I can... Oh, shit. I shouldn't have done that. So, now it's a three-way war. Probably... Ah, hello. Come on, Frost Dragon. You die now. You learned some new stuff. We went... Oh, no. No, 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 no!
Like we were saying, an arduous task to be sure, beset with dangers. We clear out the Forsworn camp at Cartspire and solve a couple of intelligence-insultingly easy puzzles to proceed to Skyhaven Temple by stabbing ourselves in the hand. Inside is a rather useful sword and this rather mentally reinvigorating art we get to stare at. You'd think at some point the most important parts of history would have been documented and preserved in a more straightforward way, but this picture's all we've got. According to Egbert, Aldi was defeated with a rather unique vape trick, and the only people we know who know anything about those are the Greybeards. So now with the Alduin's Wall achievement attained for finishing the quest, we get to head all the way back up the mountain to see if we can learn more from Arengar. Unfortunately, even just the mention of this trick gets his panties in a twist. There's something about the blades being a bad influence on us and straying from the path of wisdom. But after he has his little temper tantrum, he does agree to help us. Kind of. See, he doesn't know the trick, but he does know who does know. We're taught clear skies and told that Parthenax, the leader of the Greybeards, will be able to give us the knowledge we seek. Now it should come as no shock to anyone that Party Snacks here just so happens to be one of the first dragons who taught mankind how to vape, since everyone obviously read the 10x tablets along the 7,000 steps the first time they came up the mountain, right? Party Snacks teaches us the formalities of greeting a dragon and then drops the bombshell that, since it was mankind that created this vape trick, no dragon can learn it as it's beyond their mental comprehension. So for what feels like the 10th time in a row, we're not told what we need to know, but where we can find what we need to know instead. Though this time it's not where we need to go, but when. If we were to go back in time and see Dragonrend in use, we could learn it from those who originally created it, and doing that is easy. We'll just need an Elder Scroll. Thankfully, Party Snacks happens to have one. Oh, he doesn't have an Elder Scroll. Well, he does know where we can find one. No, he doesn't have a clue where we can find one either. But he does know who might know. Our best hope now lies far to the north in Winterhold, where many a mage can mingle with a multitude of mystics to hone their magics. After talking with the gaslighting gatekeeping girl boss that is Faralda and showing off our natural talent with vapes, we earn both Gatekeeper for joining the college and also ticking over our 100th location discovered in Skyrim for Explorer 2. So once we make our way into the library, the Arcanium, Urag doesn't have much information on Elder Scrolls, or any locations that might be of any use either. Thankfully, rather than telling us a place that might help, he gives us a point to go find the leading expert on the subject, Septimus Cygnus. Last he was seen was out in the ice fields on some expedition, so let's go from the north to the northern north to his outpost. Inside, thankfully, Septimus is still alive, but happens to be rather preoccupied with this rather large box. After trying to understand his rather unique way of speaking, we end up striking a deal with him. In exchange for his help getting an Elder Scroll, he wants us to transcribe its contents and bring him back this information in hopes that it'll help him unlock the box. The best part though, he actually knows where we need to go! Dotted at the end of several of the large dwarven ruins in Skyrim, you'll find these tables that, until now, we've not been able to interact with. That's where the round thing comes in. This acts as a key and lets us explore into the depths of Blackreach. Now, normally you'd be pointed in the direction of Aftan, and you can go on your merry way to Blackreach from there. However, since we've already cleared out Ralbathar, we thought this might be faster. After all, the elevator at the end of the dungeon brings you right down to the Blackreach door. Well, that would be the case if we'd been able to find the bloody elevator. So, 7 minutes later, we tear through the once deadly Centurion and sink into Blackreach, which is... well, it's as expansive and unique as it is boring, to be nice. Aside from the secret dragon fight you can do here, we run straight through the place, heading right for the room containing our prize. All that stands between us and the scroll is one last puzzle. With the fancy old scroll now ours, we complete Elder Knowledge, picking up the same named achievement for doing so, and return the lexicon out to Septimus. Apparently, he's going to need some Dwemer blood in order to open up the big box, but the issue of the Dwemer have all disappeared from this plane of reality poses a small issue for getting that. But he's a clever lad, suggesting that if he were to have the blood of all the remaining elven races, those should work as a close enough substitute. On the way out, we get a brief visit from Knowledge Tentacle Daddy, who offers us the possible position of his champion should we be able to help get this box open. Now, we're sure there was something important we were doing, but right now we just want to know what's in the box. It could be anything. We're sure it'll come back to us while we get to work on this blood cocktail. First up on the shopping list is Altmer blood, and the easiest way we can grab that is by paying another trip over to the Thalmor Embassy, which is just brimming with high elf volunteers. Now, as for the rest, the location to the east of Periite Shrine, Liar's Retreat, happens to have all the blood we need. It's a simple trip for a horse to make. On the way eastward on foot, don't ask what happened to the horse, we pass by Carthwayston, where the owner of the mine, Einthak, is having a little issue with a group of sellswords who are refusing to leave the mine while they, protect it from a possible Forsworn threat. We try our luck with an intimidation check on their leader and succeed! That finishes up a successful persuasion, bribe, and intimidation to earn us snake-tongued. Some 15 hours later than we planned to, but never mind that. Now on to Liar's Retreat. For a small location, this place is not only packed with every mer except for Altmer, but also has a rather neat little story of a Falmer raid on a bandit camp. We clear out the bandits and Falmer, harvesting up the remaining blood we need, then return the mixture to Septimus, who's able to lube up and open the box. Inside, we find a book. One that's so powerful that its knowledge quite literally disintegrates Septimus for so much as looking at it. And we'll be sure to put this very, very powerful book to good use. But that'll come later on, once we've, Oh, yes! Saving the world! Yeah, we should get on that. Returning to the Throat of the World, Party Snacks invites us to open the scroll and take a peek back in time. Wait, hold on, doesn't reading the scroll take the reader's back in the ancient times? We get to see the, engaging 4-minute cutscene of what happened to Aldi, including the use of Dragonrend. With this knowledge in hand, it's not long before we get the chance to use it, as Aldi is waiting for us when we return to the present, but with the amount of damage we output, he actually goes down before the dialogue can even be finished. Sadly, unlike every other dragon, Aldi doesn't let us suck the soul out of him, and instead he buggers off to God's nowhere. Well, how exactly are we going to defeat him now? The only ones who'd know anything about what Aldi is up to would be any of his allies. Problem is, those allies are hardly likely to happily offer up any information to us. If we're gonna get one to talk, we'll need the upper hand on them. Party Snacks offers the suggestion of using Dragon Reach for this, as the palace was originally built for the purpose of capturing dragons. Well, that's fine. We are pretty buddy-buddy with Jarl Bolin and all, so in order to go prepare this trap in Whiterun, we're off to join the Dawn Guard. See, here's the thing. Currently, Skyrim is in the midst of a little civil war, and it's partly that war's fault that we were almost killed in the first place. This does have some issues for Whiterun, being the most central geographical and politically positioned. Suddenly now having to worry about inviting a dragon into the city could cause more problems and possible attacks from either side on Whiterun. This is where the quest Seasons Unending comes in. In this quest, it's our job to get both sides of the war to meet up for a peace treaty so that we can use Dragon's Reach to set our trap. The problem is that this quest is quite literally just a 10-minute cutscene of watching both sides being petty bastards to each other while we sit and watch. But what's worse still is that if we choose a bad series of dialogue options, we can actually lock ourselves out of getting the War Hero achievement for liberating one of two forts. So to avoid having to deal with an awful 10-minute quest, we will instead just end the civil war altogether. After all, no civil war means no reason for a peace treaty, and no need for a peace treaty means no Seasons Unending. But if we're going to do that, we'll first want to go through the 5-hour Dawn Guard DLC and then do the 2-hour Civil War quest after, so as to make the most out of it. All of this to save just 10 minutes. hey, at least there's a handful of achievements to go along with it. So down to the southeast of Skyrim, tucked away all alone, lies Fort Dawnguard, where inside we speak with Ysrand and how we really want to be a vampire hunter. Sadly, right now, the fort is still in bad shape, so all we can do is explore a lead from the vigilance of Stendar on these vampire attacks. According to Tolan, there could be some long-lost vampire artifact in this place, and if that's true, either obtaining or destroying it sounds like it would put the vampires at a deficit. We stop by the Lord Standing Stone on the way out to the crypt that is teeming with vampires, and since vampires are considered undead, even this late into the grind, Dawnbreaker is still getting to be a useful weapon with its crowd control. Eventually, this cave system reaches a huge stone structure with a circular platform in its center. We push the harmless button and get stabbed by the not-so-harmless giant spike that comes out from it, and solve another intelligence-insulting puzzle. And hey, just like the last one, our reward for solving it is an Elder Scroll! There's also this vampire, Serana here, who'd been hiding in this place for far longer than she'd intended, but if she's been found, then something big must be going on back home. For finishing this quest, we earn Awakening and then help Serana back to this home of hers. Off the northwestern coastline of Skyrim, out in the freezing waters of the Sea of Ghosts, lies Castle Volkihar, home to not only Serana, but also a court of some of the oldest and most powerful vampires across all of Skyrim. As a reward for reuniting Serana with her father after so many centuries, we're given the option to partake in Lord Harkon's blood. Doing so will not only drive the furry from within us out, but also allow us to transform into a vampire lord, which is like being a vampire, but slightly buggier.
I mean, our stamina does recover a little bit, just because, what the? What? Okay, that's interesting. This is weird, because what just happened? I can't, I can't access any of the powers. Kinda broke the game. Kinda broken the game here. No, I'm very concerned. What's going on?
Thanks to the grinding of the werewolf perks we've already done, we don't have to worry about losing the fursuit now, so we happily accept this gift and pass out from the new cringe that purges our old cringe. We wake up and get a nice tutorial from Haddock as to how to use our new powers and transformation. Now we can transform into this new form as often as we want that comes with access to several spells with more benefits awaiting us as our power grows. How do we do this? Well, just like with the fursuit, we need to kill people in order to gain perk points. More specifically for the vampire, it has to be with the Drain Vitality spell or a Bite power attack. It's 5 kills for the first perk point, then 2 more for each subsequent point, which means there's a total of 165 kills we need to rack up. This is why we want to get this transformation before doing the Civil War questline, but more on that later. Being a vampire isn't all sunshines and rainbows. Actually, the sunshine is precisely the problem. Whenever we find ourselves outside in the sunlight, we'll be burdened with some rather nasty debuffs. A little hit to our maximum health, magicka, and stamina, but more importantly, a 100% regeneration reduction to health, magicka, and stamina. Throw in a weakness to fire and things might become a touch harder for us during the day. Lord Haddock has a task for us. Well, rather than tell us what it is, he tells us to go speak with Garen to know what it is. Apparently, Lord Haddock wants the Bloodstone Chalice filled from a certain blood spring found in Redwater Den. Doing this will do something good for us. Honestly, this feels like some kind of hazing of the new guy, but sure, it could be fun. We try to snack on a few bandits out along the way to the den, but remember that whole a 100% regeneration reduction to health, magicka, and stamina thing? Yeah, it doesn't go well for us. But you know us, we'll smash our head against the brick wall until we overcome this. Oh, the game crashed. Well, third time's the charm. We beeline to Redwater Den, which turns out to be a skooma den, selling a very special and potent variety of the substance, with many an addict looking for their fix here. It also happens to be inside, so without the sunlight debuffs, we tear through everyone here as a vampire lord to get to work on that kill count we need. It's only once we're further down inside that we come upon a shocking revelation.
See, now we're not a furry. Wait, do bats have fur? And if they do, would they be considered furry? Yes and yes. So bats are furries. Damn it, we're still... I thought we beat the furry allegations.
So, yeah, technically we're still a furry, just a much darker and edgier one. Also, the skooma den has been mixing the waters from the blood spring into their skooma, which makes it far more potent and even more dangerous. When we end up reaching that spring, a couple of the other members of the Volkihar court greet us, not to congratulate us, but to kill us, naturally. Turns out that all those vampires are just as embroiled in their own little politics and power plays as the rest of Skyrim, and this chalice would have been a nice little boon for them. Bulldozing through the pair of pillocks, we return the filled chalice Palace back to Volkihar, where Garage enlightens us to the fact that both he and Haddock had suspicions that we might be followed, but by taking care of those two, we've helped keep Haddock's position of power well secured. So much for avoiding politics, huh? We take a little bit of time here to go ahead and whip up a batch of armor and jewelry that can help give us some assistance with those previously mentioned debuffs, since it's not all regeneration that's stopped, but rather 100%. So if we have 150% stamina regeneration, we'd end up with just 50% in the sunlight. With our new fit fashioned, we head on over for another word with Haddock, and he educates us on some ancient prophecy he's heard whispers of, which speak of a time when vampires will no longer need to fear the sun. Honestly, yeah, that does sound kinda useful. Those debuffs are a bitch, but this prophecy is contained within the Elder Scroll that Serana had, and reading Elder Scrolls isn't an easy task. I mean, we had to have the exact scroll and use it in the exact place it was last used, and even then all we could do was see what happened back then. No, if we want to read a scroll, we're gonna need to find a moth priest. They're a devout group who've dedicated their lives to the study and reading of Elder Scrolls. Haddock has already made an effort in spreading rumors of an Elder Scroll being found in Skyrim, which isn't untrue, but the idea is to now go and hunt down any moth priests. According to the first carriage driver we speak to, he saw someone who could have been a moth priest that wanted to hire a ride to Dragonbridge. From there, we learned that their carriage had headed southwards across the bridge. Apparently it didn't get too far though, since not 2 minutes down the road, an overturned carriage and several slaughtered guards can be found. The vampire corpse does have a note on it mentioning taking the captured moth priest to a nearby cave, so we follow the blood trail to Forebear's holdout. Inside, the Dawn Guard have already started clearing out the vampires, and they do a surprisingly good job of it too. Even for us, trying to use the Vampire Lord transformation proves to be a fruitless endeavor. Who'd have thunk that vampire hunters would be decent at defending against and attacking vampires? Because of this, all our hard work on this new outfit is pretty useless here, so it's back to the tried and true slashy-bashy way of working things, which was far more effective. Their armor might be good against the magical powers that drain the very life force from their bodies, but a regular old sword? Pfft, nah, melts like butter. With nobody else here but the Moth Priest, we use our vampiric powers to make him our friend. With him now more than happy to follow our every whim, we bring him back to the court and have him read the prophecy from the scroll. It's fragmented, something about a bow and vampires ruling over the sun, we aren't too sure. We were a bit busy doing some other stuff while he was reading, but there is more to this prophecy on 2 other scrolls. Well, even though we've already gotten one of those scrolls, apparently when Serrano's mother fled from the castle, she stole the last scroll, so unless we can find her, we're shit out of luck on reading the prophecy. With Haddock going off in a huff, Serrano talks to us and clues us in on an idea as to where the last stolen scroll might be. Last time Serrano saw her mother, she mentioned that she would be going someplace Haddock would never look. It's not exactly much for us to go on, but it's the best we've got, so pulling suggestions out of our arse, out of thin air, we suggest maybe she could be hidden somewhere in the castle itself. There are some parts of the castle around the back that haven't seen any use in a long while, and it's our best bet to finding the last scroll, Serrano's mother. Adorning the center of the now abandoned courtyard lies a moon dial, but some of the phases of the moon appear to have been removed. A hint, perhaps? Well, we're screwed now. How exactly are we supposed to find those? They could be anywhere across the entire world! After a few minutes of looking around the same courtyard, we find and reseat all the missing panels which reveal the moon dial was a door to another part of the castle. Not exactly sure how Haddock never found this place. It's not the most well-hidden of spots, but whatever. The rest of this dark and decrepit series of rooms stretch into a maze-like configuration, but right as we come to the end, it seems like again we've come to a total dead end. That is, until we notice the odd candlestick that reveals another secret passage. According to the journal that was left lying around here, Serrano's mother was researching and experimenting with a way to enter the Soul Cairn, a plane of existence involved with a lot of necromancy, and was actually successful in creating a portal to travel there. We scrounge up the ingredients that were also just left lying around the place, and with a drop of Serrano's blood as the last component, we have a portal opened. Welcome to the Soul Cairn, a place with... well, you see, it's filled with... so there's a lot of interesting... yeah, no, this place sucks balls. We charge full speed ahead over to the quest marker to the steps of this large cathedral-esque structure. At the entrance, we find Valerica, Serrano's mother, sealed behind an impenetrable magical barrier. She's not exactly thrilled to see the pair of us, mainly because she knows more about the prophecy, and that's the reason why she did what she did. Serrano herself is instrumental to fulfilling this tyranny of the sun, and if Haddock ever finds out, then he'll kill Serrano for the greater good of all other vampires. Eventually, Thankfully, after listening to a vampire telenovela, Velcro agrees to work with us and give us the scroll she took with her here. Well, she would if she could. See, she's not just hiding here, she's technically trapped here, and we'll have to take down this barrier if we want the scroll. In order to do that, we'll have to run back and forth across this wasteland to find 3 keepers and take them out. Oh, there's also apparently a dragon who's been tasked with making sure that Velcro remains here, so that's one more thing to add to our to-do list. Thankfully, none of this is a difficult task, but god damn is it a time sink to do. It also doesn't help that there's no mini-map for this place either. But before long, we've returned to the stairs and there's no magical barrier blocking us. Hooray! Once we enter inside the courtyard though, Durnavir sees the perfect boss battle arena and jumps at the chance for a boss fight. Sadly though, we are just a smidge overpowered and literally 2 seconds after forcing him to land, he's gone. So with that minor footnote in our story dealt with, we get the only important thing here in the form of the last Elder Scroll. While not an easy puzzle, at least those were short. Elder Scroll in hand, we make our way back to the mortal realm, but get accosted by Durnavir on the way out. This dumbass here managed to get himself trapped in the Soul Cairn by its rulers and, since we kicked his ass so easily, requests that we summon him in Tamriel in exchange for learning Soul Tear. He's just lucky that learning it has an achievement tied to it or he'd be shit out of luck, but with this new vape trick learnt, we finally get to leave this abysmal location, getting beyond death for finishing the questline. So first thing we do now that we're back on the mortal plane is we find a nice little spot of open land and summon Durnavir, then wait 3 hours to get rid of the cooldown and repeat 2 more times till we've learnt all 3 words of Soul Tear. We'll never really use this, but we do get an achievement for knowing how to. Speaking of knowing how to, we need to go see Dexion again, now that we have all the scrolls needed for this prophecy so he can read them. Oh, he can't, because he's blind. Fuck. I mean, we could go get someone else to read it, but that's gonna be like a whole other hour's worth of work to do, and really, it just seems like an awful lot of effort to put in. Can't one of the other vampires just do it instead? Dexion, however, is still useful, and gives us an alternative option for reading an Elder Scroll, without having to worry about the cost of losing our sight. The Ritual of the Ancestor Moth. Why Dexion didn't suggest he do this the first time, I don't know, but whatever. This location is on the far south border of Skyrim, and normally would be a pain in the balls to get to. But thankfully, while we were off chasing down her scene, we actually found this location already, so we get to just fast travel there right away. Inside the Astral Glade, with a slice of bark in hand, we get a bunch of these moth groups to fly all around us, and somehow this means that we won't go blind reading the scrolls. Gods, I hope this works. Opening all 3 scrolls, we end up being shown a location in the northwest of Skyrim. No idea what it is, but we know that's where we've got to go, so it's a new goal. Once we make it inside of Darkfall Cave, we find out exactly why this place has the name, as we take a long fall down into the darkness, getting washed into a cave system from the rapid waters where we get greeted by a most unique of individuals. Gelabor is one of the last remaining snow elves, the race that the the betrayed, formerly were. He knows that we're looking for Auriel's bow and is more than happy to help us, but he does have one request, and that's that we kill Archcurate Vertha, his brother. I mean, sure, look, what's one more body to add to the pile? He's holed up in the inner sanctum of the Chantry, and there's only one way we're going to get in. We'll have to carry this ewer to all 5 other shrines, fill it with water at each, and then take it to— hey, hold on a bloody second, this is just another fucking hazing like with the Bloodstone Chalice! Ah, for fuck's sake. Well, fine. First thing we need to do is survive Darkfall Passage, which isn't too difficult since it's mostly just a winding cave filled with the betrayed. It eventually opens out into a large expanse with several new exotic fauna and the next shrine we need. 2 down, 4 to go. From here, the shrines let us teleport to the Forgotten Vale, a place best described as the total opposite of the Soul Cairn. Vibrant and flourishing with colour, more interesting geography and locations to explore. There's still no mini-map, but at least this area is nice to explore. The 3rd shrine ends up being fairly close to where we entered the Vale, which is nice for us. I mean, we are on the clock here, so let's knock these out one after the other, and oh, what's a paragon? Huh, that's kind of neat. Oh, and there's a bunch of precious gems here. That's cool. Wonder what other places this place— no, shrines. Come on, stay focused. We knock out the next shrine now that we've stopped being distracted and instead get sidetracked, a very important distinction, with the secret boss fight here on the frozen lake between us and 2 named dragons simultaneously. It would seem a scary task, but thankfully, Dragon Rend and Dragon Bane both obliterate each dragon without too much trouble for us. At this point, we thought we had learnt 20 shouts for Thuum Master, but the achievement hadn't popped for us, and after a little digging, we find that it's not 20 words that we need to know, but 20 different shouts that we need to know. And right now, we're at 13 out of 20, so we'll just have to keep our eyes out for any locations with new shouts we can learn. Vape tricks we can learn. The next shrine is an uneventful jog, but the last one?
Ugh, this bastard shrine was tucked away right at the back of a towering series of tunnels through a massive glacier. So after 10 minutes and 1 round trip due to getting lost, we find this final bloody shrine and walk this stupid jug of water up to the inner sanctum which, once poured out, opens the door for us. Inside, Vulture is sat just casually flipping us off from behind 4 foot of solid ice and taunting us about how we'd done exactly as he had predicted. But we couldn't really focus on him, what with the horde of frozen betrayed attacking us and the ceiling collapsing in on us. In an act of desperation or possible temper tantrum, Vulture blows up the entire room and runs out onto the balcony. It's here that we learn the reason for his entire centuries-long hissy fit against a god is because that he is also a vampire. He was the one who created the prophecy about the tyranny of the sun, also that a pure-blooded vampire would come looking for the bow. Serrano is rightfully pissed at this little shit, and we easily massacre the moron in a matter of moments into mincemeat for our troubles. Plus, we did say we'd do it anyway, so this works out. With Vulture now dealt with, General shows up to thank us for the help and just gives us the bow, which we use alongside these special kind of arrows to fire a shot directly into the sun, making a pretty light show and also getting us the achievement Oriel's bow. Now with the bow in our possession, there's only one thing left to do. We've got to kill Haddock. We return to Volkihar and back to the chambers where we first learned to use our new powers and confront Haddock. He's a rather difficult fight, but less so because of his damage output or the small room, but rather the bastard loves to run around invisible and play the range game while healing. He can't run forever though, and eventually we're able to land the killing blow on him, bringing his reign to an end and earning us Kindred Judgment for finishing the main questline of the DLC. So, now that's all tidied up and finished with, we can now do what we were here to do in the first place, avoid politics by single-handedly winning a civil war. While on our way east to Solitude, we drop by the Temple of Merida to grab the Elemental Fury vape trick we previously had missed, then march right on up to General Tullius and ask to join the Imperial Legion. Legate Ricker oversees our induction, giving us the special assignment to see if we're up to standards, reclaiming an entire fort from a group of bandits single-handedly. Okay, first of all, we're already kitted out in full ebony armor and weaponry, are the leader of the Companions, and the Dragonborn of Prophecy said to save the world from Alduin the World Eater. But secondly, what kind of hazing bullshit is that? The Stormcloaks would only want us to go kill a bloody ice wraith. Well, at least it's more bodies for us to feed on. Silver lining and all that, I suppose. We fast travel out to Fort Hagstead, wait for the sun to set just to be safe, and then put our soul-sucking skills to good use on all the piss-weak bandits here for the next 5 minutes. Hell, the trip there and back took longer than clearing the place out. After getting back, we get to celebrate our accomplishment by joining the cult that is the Empire's military. Hooray! Well, now that we've sworn our undying loyalty to some empire, we can start working on cleaning up this civil war mess. First off, we're off to head to some dusty old ruins. Ricker believes that the Stormcloaks have found the location of some jagged crown, which if Ulfric gets his hands on, would be bad for us because... reasons. But just like with the fort, we travel out to the location, then change into the vampire and suck away at Stormcloaks and Imperial soldiers alike. See, since nobody knows that it's us, we don't get into any kind of shit for killing our own allies. Yay! Admittedly, the Imperials aren't exactly friendly towards us, but as long as they don't see us transform or de-transform, we should be fine. Ah, that's a problem. That is what I didn't want to happen.
Oops. Mercifully, there's not much left to do in Corvinyun besides kill a few Draugr, one of which happens to have the crown that we're here for, so we nab that alongside another new vape trick and then bugger off back to Solitude, where, for some reason, that 1,000 bounty isn't making anyone attack us. With the crown now in the Empire's hands, we now need to go tell Jarl Borlin that Ulfric likely has enough forces amassed to attempt to take Whiterun by force. Borlin isn't too pleased at the idea of having Imperial troops garrisoned in the city, so while he and his advisors squabble over what to do, we get in a little bit of sneak leveling while we wait. With his decision made, we're now asked to go see Ulfric and hand him this axe. It's kind of like a Discord friend request. On our way out, we stop by the 3 different blacksmiths to grab as much iron and corundum as possible, since we're very close to the 100,000 gold we need, so can start splurging on other things we'll need soon. But before then, Windhelm. It'll actually be our first time in the city, so this makes it a decent excuse to visit the bigoted racist cunt.
Oh, there's a Hello, dragon. I did not know you could get a dragon in here. I did not know you could get dragons out here. Sweet. Hey, I'll take it. If he lands, that'd be amazing. Okay, seriously, can you land? Perch or something. Go perch somewhere. I don't even think it can land in here, you know? It can land down inside. Oh, it's over. All right, Dragon's Bane. Okay, this appears to be the only place he can land. But that's fine. Hi, buddy. Hi, look at how much damage I am doing to you already.
Well, with our arrival nice and thematically announced, we stroll into the palace and hand Ulfric the "Will you be my friend" axe from Bolin. Ulfric, however, tells us to return the axe with the message of prepare to entertain visitors. On our way out, we show our disdain for the bastard by throwing all the plates off the table in one go. What we didn't notice was the guard standing by the door right in the path of unrelenting force, which would be fine to piss off everyone here if all we needed to do was leave, but we don't. Remember the first time we came to Riften and what happened to that nice old lady who runs the orphanage? Oh, that's right, we forgot to mention we killed her the first time we came to Riften, but now that we're in Windhelm, let's continue on with that little thread. We head over to the Arantino residence and speak with a kid who's been trying to contact a group of assassins to kill the old lady who runs the orphanage. We talk to him and tell him that we've already done this, whilst trying not to get our head caved in by the angry mob and get a silver plate for our troubles. We play a spot of bowling with the NPCs and then book it on out of here back to Whiterun. Bolin is disappointed but not surprised to see his axe again and has taken the offer of Imperial troops to aid during a potential siege. And by potential siege, we mean the siege which starts up the moment we leave Dragon's Reach. A fact so shocking that it quite literally floors us.
What the Oh, that's so... I legitimately think it's because we went through a door and then we got ragdolled and the game didn't know what to do with us, so now we're like this. It worked on jumping. Oh, it's too good. Oh, it's too damn good. We need to get outside, hide, and transform, and thankfully I know just the place we can do that.
This is where we're gonna get a ton more kills for the Vampire Lord. No, not the invading Stormcloaks, though we'll stack on them too, but the constant supply of Imperial troops and White One guards. So, 3 minutes and 3 perk points later, the Stormcloaks have been repelled by our combined forces. We head back to the gate to listen to Bolin's speech to the survivor... I think I think we're just gonna head back to Solitude now. General Tulips hands us a promotion for all the legwork we did, and we're now sent off with a pat on our back to the Imperial camp just outside of Dawnstar. It even comes with a free dragon soul for us when we get there. We're setting our sights on taking the Pale region, and to do this we're going to do a little subterfuge with the Stormcloaks and their message runners. After tracking down one such a fellow who happens to be having the worst day of their life, we make it just a tiny bit worse for them and take their important war reports back to Rika to analyze and adjust accordingly. With our forgeries finished, we stop off over to the Dawnstar General, walk right up to him and hand in the documents, which he takes with barely any scrutiny over not wearing the uniform or the fact that he's never seen us before or any reports of an orc in full ebony armor terrorizing Windhelm. Hell, he's so oblivious to the idea we could be an Imperial, he even pays us for delivering these. When we report back to Rika, we get paid $1,000 for finishing the mission, which tips us over the 100,000 gold in hand, earning us Golden Touch. Now with the Stormcloaks working with incorrect information, we're off to take another fort. It's pretty much the same thing we did with the last fort, but this time we have an endless supply of backup from the Imperial soldiers, meaning it's time for some more munchin'. Not even 2 minutes later and we've racked up the 165 kills to get all the perk points for Vampire Mastered. So, much like with the werewolf, we're not really going to use this transformation again. At least this time we have the other benefits of being a vampire, like, a 100% regeneration reduction to health, magicka, and stamina. Oh hey, look at that, we've driven the Stormcloaks out of the fort. Now we just need to make sure that nobody else lives to report about a massive vampire tearing through the place. It also has the other benefit of proving just how irreplaceable we are. Hooray for job security! So with another successful mission in territory under Imperial jurisdiction, we head back to Tulips to get another promotion! Man, he's really just handing these out, huh? Next up is the Rift in the southeast, a region that's been supporting Windhelm mostly through funding its war efforts. Ricky has learnt that the Jarl's steward has made some dealings with the Thieves Guild, so, with that as leverage, we can undermine Riften's support to the Stormcloaks by blackmailing her. Yeah, we're definitely the good guys in this war. We won't mention that we are technically a Thieves Guild member ourselves, and instead walk into the keep and casually stroll into the back like we're supposed to be there. Confidence is key in this. That or a ladder. With our incriminating letter in hand, we go dangle it in front of the steward's face to get her attention. She's not exactly fond of either side of the war, she just wants a simple life with an influential ear she can bend to her advantage from time to time. And to keep this letter from going public, she proposes a little deal. In exchange for giving back the letter, she'll let us know of a hefty shipment of weapons and gold that'll put a big dent in the war effort for either side. So, with a little kickback for us now, we hand back the letter and learn this card is slowly on its way up to Windhelm. Ricky happens to have a few scouts out along the road already, so we meet up with Hadvar and the other scouts briefly before ignoring them and charging headfirst into the camp and seizing the shipment for ourselves. I mean, the Empire. Now it's off to capture Fort Greenwall. This, or Fort Sungard, are the two forts you'd need to capture for your side in the war and can be locked out of if you screw up Seasons Unending. We lead the charge, and now without the need for the Vampire Lord kills, we just start swinging till the fort and the achievement War Hero is ours.
Where are you? Wait, I'm going to stab you. It's gonna happen. I can see you on my minimap. Where are you? Oh, you're just stuck in here. Here, let me help you with that.
Returning again as the sole survivor of a territory takeover, it's just Winterhold left to occupy before ending this war. This one is basically just another fort siege, but we have the option to sneak in and free several prisoners to help us take over the fort from inside, but we don't need any help, especially from this weird creepy bug thing we happen to find. Seriously, what the fuck is this thing? But with the prisoners freed and everyone else dead, I guess technically that puts this place under Imperial control, which is good enough to say that Winterhold is ours and it's just Windhelm left. Tulips gives us the promotion to Legate, and now we leg it over to Windhelm for the final mission. After 3 minutes of taking over the final fort, we meet up with the remaining Imperial Legion and storm Windhelm. Just like every other fort mission, we simply obliterate everyone and everything on our way into the palace. Once we get in there, we do what we'd wanted to do since first setting foot in this place.
This is now my new favorite sword. Hello!
With Ulfric now dead using a nice new sword, that ends the Civil War and earns us Hero of Skyrim. So now with no Civil War, that means there's no need for a peace treaty. And with no need for a peace treaty, Seasons Unending is completely skipped, saving us a full 10 minutes. And it only took us 7 hours to do. We promise it was worth it. Back at Dragon's Reach, we asked Bolin if he'd be able to help us by using the old dragon trap to, well, trap a dragon. Also, apparently Hadvar decided to tag along with us for some reason. Bolin goes and makes sure the trap works, while we go and learn exactly how we're going to get a dragon trapped. I mean, it's not like one will just walk into it. Party Snack teaches us the name of one of Aldi's allies, Odaving. With this, if we were to use this to make a call-out post, since dragons are very prideful creatures, it's highly likely that they would respond to us. So, back to Dragon's Reach again. We check in with Bolin about—
Oh, for fuck's sake. Hang on.
We check in with Bolin about springing the trap. Everything's set and ready for our call-out post. Odaving shows up as predicted and then stupidly walks right into the trap. I guess someone would be stupid enough to do it. With Odie trapped, we get to talking. He tells us Aldi has taken to snacking on the souls in Sovngarde. We can reach him, but the portal in Skuldafn is only reachable by dragonflight. Now Odie could take us there, but— well, not like this. With the Fallen achievement and a new problem to ponder, we'll leave Odie like this while we consider our answer for a bit. While we wander to ponder, we're off to go grab the 2 remaining houses we need. One's in Morthal and the other's in Dawnstar, but just like in Falkreath, we'll need to appease each hold's Jarl first. Luckily, Laid to Rest is a convenient side quest and Waking Dreams is pseudo-mandatory, so let's go get those done. Laid to Rest in Morthal isn't too difficult. Hell, getting it to start took us most of our time. But after talking to the innkeeper, we learned that a recent house fire burnt down not only the entire home, but also 2 of the 3 residents. It's a lot of hearsay, speculation, and rumors about what happened. Things Jarl Ingrid would rather be cleared up by someone who isn't biased by the townsfolk. In the remains of the house, we talk with this ghost child who wants to play hide and seek with us? Also only at night, so the other one can come out? Well, she's hidden out in an unearthed child-sized coffin just behind the house, but still won't talk to us until someone called Laylette is gone. Well, while we wait for this other person to show up, we take a small detour out to the marshes to find the Apprentice Stone. Now, turns out that Laylette is Laylette the vampire, so that's a nice little twist. With her no longer a problem, Helgi tells us that it was said vampire who was tasked with burning down the house, but wanted to save Helgi by making her a vampire too. Now, this is all very helpful evidence, but before we can go back to the Jarl, Laylette's husband finds us over his wife's corpse. Well, this could be awkward, especially since he thought she'd run off to go join the Stormcloaks. Apparently, Alva was the last person in Morthal to have seen Latte before she left, so Latte met with Alva, disappeared and turned up again as a vampire. Sounds like a lead. We take this hearsay, speculation, and rumors right over to Alva's house and break in to find any concrete evidence of her involvement. In her coffin, located in the basement, Alva's diary reads, "I am a vampire plotting to do vampire things in Morthal, mwahahaha, all but literally." This is totally what Ingot was looking for. We show the diary to her and she tells us she'll get the townsfolk together to help us clear out Morvarth's lair. But let's be honest here, the townsfolk are completely useless. Hell, if you let them show up outside the place, all they do is run off like the cowardly bastards they are. So it's just us who's going to kill Morvarth, who's been orchestrating this whole plot, and the whole place as well since we're here. Now with this vampire threat solved, Ingot is so pleased with our service, we're granted the privilege of owning property here, which we do immediately. Actually, all this talk of vampires has us remembering another side quest we can do here, Rising at Dawn. After, again, spending far too long trying to trigger the start of the quest, we go speak with Falion, who instantly clocks us as a vampire. We ask if he knows a cure for this curse, which he does, but has never performed it, for it requires a dark and terrible sacrifice, for we must bring and use a black soul gem. Yeah, we've got several of those already, so we move right on to performing the ritual. One quick speech at the right time and place later, and our vampirism is cured. But, more importantly, that's another of the 10 side quests we need to do done. Now on to Dawnstar, where the problem we need to solve is the plague of nightmares everyone in the town has been having each and every night. According to a priest of Mara at the Wind Peak Inn, these nightmares are being caused by the Daedric Lord Vermina. That's right, this is another Daedric quest with another Daedric item that we need. We join Aranda up at Nightcaller Temple and get some lore about this place. Years ago, a tribe of orcs raided this place in an attempt to stop their own plague of nightmares. This ended with the followers of Vermina releasing basically magical chloroform to suspend everyone in an endless sleep. When a razor opens up the wall, there's a possibility that doing so will disperse this miasma and everyone's slumber will cease, restarting the siege, but that's little more than a distraction for us at this point. The giant impenetrable magical barrier might be a bit more of a problem though. We don't have any wooden plates with us either. Eraser does have a plan though. As a former priestess of Vermina, a shock we know, he knows of something called Dreamstride, but he'll need to read up on its details in the library. We're gonna need to find a special mixture in order to Dreamstride, and while looking for a bottle of the stuff, we find our 50th skill book, and over 1700 minutes since the first, reader is ours. We also happen to find one last bottle of this stuff, but unfortunately, the Kool-Aid won't work for a priestess of Mara, so we'll have to do this Dreamstride thing. It's a rather weird experience, but once it's over, we're on the other side of the barrier, so we deactivate it and head straight for the central chamber. We sprint on down, and right as we're there, it's these two! You know, those two people we saw in the Dreamstride, the friends of Casimir who betrayed them all? Well, melodrama aside and a couple new sword-related injuries made, the skull of corruption, the cause of all these nightmares, is within our reach. Eraser begins working on taking down the barrier, but once it's down, he intends to destroy it. But we need that staff more than we need this guy alive, so, with his usefulness ended, so does his life. We tuck the staff away in our back pocket, and that also just so happens to magically make all the problems stop. Our good deed done in Dawnstar, Jarl Brynner happily hands us over a deed to the plot of land, and now with all 3 plots, Land Baron has been earned. This is where our last-minute planning of buying all the iron we could get our hands on comes in. We need to build up all 3 houses with an entrance, main hall, and 3 wings for Master Architect. This will involve a bunch of logs we can buy from loggers, stone and clay which we can mine on site, and a silly amount of nails, hinges, fittings, and locks all made with iron and corundum. This is why we've been hoarding the stuff. Thankfully, the achievement is Master Architect, not Master Interior Designer, so we don't have to worry about furnishings at all, and 15 peaceful minutes later, we're officially an architect for fully building one of the 3 houses. Everything between here and finishing up the last 2 houses is rather uneventful. That is until we fast travel over to the Guardian Stones, where this happens.
And we'll go to Lakeview Manor. Hey, what? Apparently we found 13 standing stones. I'm not going to question why that's popped now, because I'm pretty sure I haven't found them all, but okay.
Apparently this can happen when you fast travel to a standing stone? I mean, this does cut out a little adventuring we'd have to do, so we won't look a Skyrim horse in the mouth. This happy interlude aside, we mash the X button as fast as we can and finish up the 3rd wing of the 3rd house for Master Architect. Now, while we've still got some free time, let's go ahead and clear up a few of those Daedric quests that we have to go out of our way to do. Starting with Boethia. We Skyrim our way up the side of a mountain till we arrive at the cult to/shrine of Boethia, where the priestess tells us in order to set up a Zoom meeting with her, we'll need to bring a trusted companion up to the shrine and then ruthlessly slaughter them. Thankfully, a trusted companion is a rather loose term in the world of Skyrim, as we can wander into Carfhandle Hall, throw 500 gold at this bloke and, well...
Hi, buddy. I need you to...
Good friend to me. That means
Oh,
something.
you really shouldn't be saying that. I need you to lick this. Yeah, you good? Oh, you're good. Oh my god, Stenvar! Holy shit, Stenvar! Alright, Stenvar. It was nice knowing you, bud.
Yeah, it turns out you can buy friendship, and that's good enough for Boethia to use the corpse like a flesh sock puppet to give a little speech to everyone about, well, we weren't really paying attention. Once she mentioned a prize for the last one standing, we just started swinging. By the time she's finished her commands, everyone else is already dead, and she congratulates us on winning her cool prize. All we have to do to claim it is go kill the last champion who pissed her off. So, one demolishing of a bandit hideout later, we yoink the ebony mail and have a fetching new look to our outfit. There was supposed to be a second part to this quest where you go and assassinate the ALL of Solitude, but it was never fully implemented. Now let's go celebrate our achievements with that drinking contest we heard about a while ago. Hell, we could even win a cool staff.
Hey, you don't look so good.
Well, we'd been meaning to head into Markarth at some point for 2 other quests, so yes, this counts as a fast travel. But where's that guy gone? He owes me a staff, damn it! We murder a guy out in the streets to stop him murdering someone else before heading on our way to Rorikstead, where some farmer is rather angry at us for supposedly stealing his goat and selling it to a giant. But because of our high speech stat, or possibly the fact he just watched us two-shot a dragon, we're able to scare the information out of him, who mentions that we were trying to, repay Yuzilda. Apparently, we bought a ring off her with credit, hence the whole goat-stealing fiasco. This was to go get married to our love. Oh shit. We beg her not to tell our wife and learn that the wedding is supposed to happen in Morvenskar, which just so happens to be a ruin filled with mages. Inside the keep, there's a portal that takes us to a place where the wine flows like water and is also where our pal is. In another shocking twist, Sam Gwavine is actually Sanguine, Daedric, Prince of Debauchery. Yeah, that's great and all, but where's my stuff? Thank you. Back in Markarth, there's a vigil of Stendar asking around about this abandoned house. We offer to help explore inside, then remember something else that we've got to go do real quick. Apparently, someone or something has been having a little snack on the dead, and we're gonna have a poke around in there and see what we can find out about this. The voice inside the Hall of the Dead calls out to us about the taste of human flesh, but look, we've only ever done that as a werewolf, and only for the achievements. Same goes for the vampire stuff. The voice reveals itself as Aola, a cannibal who immediately starts trying to gaslight us into thinking that we're a cannibal too and should join their little cannibal club. Normally we'd just dismiss the talk of a crazy person, but she did name drop another Daedric prince, so we'll think about it while we explore that abandoned house. Inside said house, we hear another formless voice, but this one is telling us to crush the weak and pitiful vigil of Stendar. And who are we to ignore the voices in our head? It's never led us astray before. Hell, there's even a reward for us in the basement!
Oh, a free mace, don't mind if I do.
Did you think Molag Bal, the Lord of Domination, would so easily reward you?
I mean, I kinda hoped so, yeah.
Seems that Molag Bal and Boethia don't exactly get on. Probably shouldn't be wearing her armor right now. Thankfully, that goes unnoticed, and Molag Bal wants the priest of Boethia, who's been desecrating this shrine, broken. We can help with that, but first, well, we'll have to free him. We find the sod out in Burka's Leap after clearing the place, just casually sitting there? Sorry, were we interrupting something that he had going on with those Forsworn? Is this a king thing? When we talk with the mighty Logrolf, we tell him Boethia sent us so he can run off back to the Shrine of Monty Bowl. We'll catch up with him later. While we're out and about, we may as well go clear out the cannibal clubhouse. Now we'll need to go back and pick up some, groceries for a meal here. Now then, when we head back to Markarth, let's go grab that Priest of Archay, then beat Lodestone to death with a rusty mace until he submits.
I mean, I feel like at this point, I'm just intruding on some kind of scene that I really shouldn't be involved with.
Kill.
Sounds good to me.
Probably should have done that in the other order. We then christen our new mace on Brother Viagra and get a rather underwhelming ring for our troubles. Either way, it's 2 more Daedric artifacts for us. Now, wasn't there someone we were supposed to get back to? Oh yeah, Brynjolf! We've got those debts to go collect in Riften. None of these debts are too difficult for us to get our hands on, so with a little leverage, threats of violence, and destruction of property, we can return to Byro with a pocket full of change. Just like that, we've taken care of business and have earned the achievement for doing so. Now we go speak with the guild's leader, Mercer Fay, who decides to throw us in at the deep end with the job of breaking into Golden Glow Estate. Apparently, the owners not just stopped paying the guild, but also turned their honey farm into a fortified island. But we're no ordinary thief, and have had plenty of experience tearing through fortifications, so our line of sneaking is less of the nobody will ever know we're there, and more of, well...
So with those 3 burnt, at the very least we've started off well. This lot here really don't do that much to us. Any more for any more? It looks like there's a couple more. I mean, it goes back to the whole thing of like, hey, there'll be no witnesses if everyone is dead. I got a fun idea. Let's announce our presence here. Someone's got to hear that, right? As a member of the Thieves Guild, we're supposed to be stealing stuff. Admittedly, running in here being like, let's announce our presence probably wasn't what was required, but... Alright, buddy. Hi. I'm here to have a conversation with you. I just want the key to your safe.
I can't. If I do, I may as well cut my own throat.
What makes you think that I wouldn't?
I don't
I can just stand here, and you can do nothing to me. Do you want to give me the key? Do you want to give me the key? Come on. Give me the key. Hang on. You're not involved in this. There we go.
See, this is a far easier way of getting the things we need, like the worthless gold and slip of paper from inside Arangoth's safe, a slip of paper that Byro isn't too happy to see. Arangoth sold off the farm to another buyer, one who the Thieves Guild would be very interested to know more about. And speaking of knowing more about, the guild's business partner and newly appointed Jarl, Maven Blackbriar, wants to have a little chat with us. She's got a contact in Whiterun that she wants us to work with in order to bring down a competitor in the mead industry, Sabjorn last name. Maven's contact, Malus, plans to have a batch of Sabjorn's mead poisoned, so when the captain of the Whiterun Guard comes for a taste test, well, he won't be too pleased with the taste. And just to make sure there's no paper trail coming back to us, we're even gonna have Sabjorn give us the poison we'll use. With a little skeever infestation issue, we get ourselves hired as a pest exterminator and get some high-grade rat poison to deal with the skeevers. The raving lunatic trying to create an army of skeevers wasn't part of the deal, but we did get a sick kill cam on him, so I guess it's cool. We sprinkle some of the poison into the nest, and the rest goes into the brewery vats. We go back to Sabjorn to get paid, and oh shit, he's already got some of the mead poured, but we haven't poisoned that batch. This plan's a bust, Malice. We'll just have to rethink it.
By the 8. What's in this? What's wrong?
Maybe it just tastes
You were
really
sure
bad
to
and we got lucky with it.
See to it that you remain in irons for the rest of your days.
Oh, I guess that works. So, with Sabbath now in the slammer, Malpractice is the owner of the meadery, which Marvin can absorb into her monopoly. We take this time to snoop around for any explanation as to how Hunningbrew managed to get so much success so quickly, but the best we get is another note with the same symbol. Marvin's not too pleased that there isn't more to go on, but Mercy might have got a lead for us. It's a long shot, but the name Gadgel Lai is an old alias of a guild fence, Gullumai. If he acted as a go-between in the deals, then he might know more about this symbol person. Naturally, Golem isn't planning on divulging any information about his clients, so we'll just have to buy him off with a case of Firebrand wine. There happens to be a single case of the stuff, but while we're on our way to nab it, this guy asks us to send for his master, who's also at the Blue Palace. What this twat neglected to mention was that his master is the Daedric Prince of Madness, Shio Bloody Gorath. We're also inside the mind of the long-dead, homicidally insane Emperor Pelagius III, so leaving here is gonna be a bit tricky. But that's what the Wabberjack is for! Couple of therapy sessions later, and we've placated She-Gorgon enough to leave with the Wabberjack in hand. Certainly a unique, if not all that interesting, quest and stuff. Right, now back to Golem. With a brand new case of wine in hand, he tells us, "A woman handed me a bag of gold to buy Golden Glow," then gets up to leave. We're not buying this yarn he's spinning, so shadow him to see where he's going. Well, we say shadow, but we already know exactly where he's going, so we go on ahead to wait for him. This section is less Metal Gear Solid sneaking around, being sure to remain unseen, and more like an auto-scroller, where the most dangerous thing is getting stuck in the geometry the devs didn't think you'd get behind. Out the back of the East Empire warehouse is a little cave with a bunch of bandits we sneak past. Well, except for the swimmer bandit. He cool. Eventually, we come to the back end where Golem is meant to be, but isn't. The duct tape is showing again, Skyrim. There we go. With every bandit around him dead, Golem spills the details that this mysterious woman is a former Thieves Guild member with a hate boner for Mercer, Carlia. Mercy is furious to learn that Carly is behind this sabotage and wants us to come with him to this place where the end began, Snowvale Sanctum. On our way out to the Sanctum, we finally get our 20th dragon kill for Dragon Hunter, and also swing by the Shrine of Azura to pick up a quest we'll do more with later on. Outside, Mercy has surveyed the location and believes that Carly must still be inside. Now, if he'd just be so kind as to open the door.
Okay, I guess we can't head inside? Hang on a minute. Hey, Ursa.
What is it?
I can't pick this lock. Can you open this? Can you open the door? This might be fun, trying to figure out how to get this damn door open. Merciful does not immediately lock the door. This can sometimes be fixed by saving and reloading, although it's not always the case. This can also be by traveling to a previous level with image or follow, or push Mercy near the entrance. Also make sure to get rid of any followers. Console commands can also fix this. Okay, Mercer, go over here. Yes? Yes? Unlock the door. Mercer, unlock the door. Open the door, you son of a bitch! It's right there. Come on. Come on, buddy.
These ancient Nordic burial
Oh.
mounds are sometimes impenetrable.
Yeah? Oh, is he gonna do it?
That should do it.
It's f***ing locked still! For f***'s sake, Mercer! You haven't... Oh, he has unlocked it. It's fine. The only thing worse than an escort quest is a slow escort quest. Yo. You know how to open this thing? You know how to open that? Because I sure as hell don't. We don't have a key for this, and I don't know how to open this. Now you're just walking backwards. For fuck's sake, don't do it again, Mercer. Maybe, right, hang on a sec. Is this one of the other ones that's got a bug on it? Maybe. But apparently, you can get stuck not opening that one. So apparently, if you go all the way back through to the catacombs, that can also fix it. For God's sake, Mercer. What is it with you and not opening doors? Oh, it's just now open. What? Huh? This game is trying to gaslight us. What the fuck? Okay. You know what? Never mind. Ow. Yeah, I'm just here now. That's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, this isn't the first time we've almost been killed in a thing. No. I was hoping for another dragon. Damn it.
Okay, so maybe Mercy isn't the most honorable of thieves. Good thing that poison slowed our heart rate and kept us from bleeding out, huh? Carly fills us in on some of the details we had incorrect. Mostly that it was Mercy who killed the last guild leader and then pinned it on her. Kinda got that when he stabbed us, but good to be sure. Carly had come back to the Sanctum to find Gallus's journal that had been written in some language neither of us have seen before, so we're off to Winterhold to see an old friend of Gallium's to see if he might be able to translate or decode it. But first there's some other things we need to do. See, the Thieves Guild achievement, One with the Shadows, requires us to return the Thieves Guild to its former glory. What that involves doing is 5 Radiant quests in Markarth, Solitude, Whiterun, and Windhelm, then taking on a mini-quest for someone in each of the holds. Annoyingly, you can only do 2 of these at a time, so it's quite the time sink. So we take a little more time to slog through a few of these and get told that Alfred in Whiterun has asked for the guild's help with a little matter. An old war friend of his has managed to get himself arrested for drunken behavior, but we're not here to jailbreak him. See, he's also wanted in Solitude, so we've got to alter his name in the prison records and also pinch a letter about the outstanding bounty on Arn. This is apparently a tricky task since both of those are found in Dragonreach, but, well, we can just walk in and not worry about a thing. Hell, there weren't even any guards here since they're all apparently gawking at a captured dragon. Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, we'd almost forgotten about that. Well, since we're in Whiterun still, we'll go get right on that. Let's go get that smithing skill up to 100. Sooner we do that, the better. We'll just be smart and go rest for the bonus XP buff and, This is Astrid. Astrid wants a little chat with us about what happened with Grelod in Riften. Since that Atari kid was looking for the Dark Brotherhood and got us instead, we've got a debt to repay. I mean, all he gave us was a silver bloody plate. If you don't need to kidnap us for it, you could have just asked. No, instead, arsehole here went and picked up 3 more people, bound them behind us and told us that one of these 3 has a contract on them. Good luck. Well, there's one easy way to find out who it is. Just kill them all. It's here that we learn it wasn't so much of a puzzle to deduce who we should be killing, and more a test of, if I told you to kill someone, would we do it? She doesn't even tell us who had the bloody contract in the end. No, we just get handed the key out of this shack and an open invitation to join her little family, the Dark Brotherhood. We'll think on it. We were in the middle of getting sidetracked after all. With our smithing newly minted to level 100, earning a skill master, we go back to Delvin, who lets us know that the Thieves Guild now has the support of Altfridge and his family in Whiterun. 1 down, 3 to go. well, 3 to go later. Back in Winterhold, we've got a couple of people in the tavern to have a chat with. First is Enther, the old friend of Gallium. Enther is able to identify that this journal is written in the betrayed language. Ah, well, this is simple then. We already know a snow elf, so can just go ask him about it. That's from the DLC, isn't it? Which means you don't let me do that. So sadly, we'll have to try and get this translated with the help of the court wizard in Markarth, who's a leading expert in the betrayed. We also go have a natter with Nelakar, an ex-mage of the college who we got told to go talk to because we got told to. Nectar Points here regales us with the story of his research in the past, how there's a Daedric artifact which acts as a reusable soul gem, and how this drove his old mentor into a maddening search for Azora's star in his dying old age. Guess we'll add that to the to-do list then. But at the top of that to-do list right now is Calselmo in Markarth. Thanks to our legendary smithing skill, we can redistribute some of those perk points into speech, so when we try to persuade him to let us have a look around his research, it actually works. It doesn't help us too much, it just means that we're allowed in the museum, but the research we need is located off in his labs, and thanks to the ebony mail, even in our heavy-ass armor, we still glide past the guards with ease. Mostly. Once we're past the guards, we take a charcoal rubbing of this stone, because we are not lugging this one back all the way like the bloody dragon stone. Enya is able to use this rubbing to translate the journal, and recounts that Gallium has suspected Mercy of pilfering from the guild's treasury, and some failing of the Nightingales. The Nightingales are like a super secret club that's part of the Thieves Guild. Basically, they're the caretakers and protectors of what's pretty much a temple to another Daedric prince, Nocturnal, meaning that this whole thing is just another pissed off Daedra. With the new evidence in hand, we bring this back to the guild with Carly and see that not only has Mercy just vanished, but so have all the funds in the Thieves Guild treasury. We need to find where he's gone and fast, so our best bet would be snooping around his house, a trap-laden place from the mind of a thief which we'll need all our genius intellect to break our way into.
There's the back door, there's the gate, there's everything. Oh, it requires a key, huh? Okay, well, what if I... There we go. Hey, Vlad, could you do me a favor and just open this door? Thanks. You're an idiot.
We find down in the basement, next to a copy of the Lusty Argonian Maid, a fully detailed plan of a heist for the Eyes of the Falmer. According to Byro, if Mercy gets his hands on those, he'll be set for life and simply disappear forever. We could go after him now, but Carly says we'll need more than just a numbers advantage to fight him. We'll need to join that super secret club and fight not as thieves, but as Nightingales. But first, more Radiant quests. In Solitude, Erica is looking for some help that we're well suited for. It's basically the same kind of job we did when we first met Byro. Get hold of some illicit goods, stick them in an incriminating place, and then leave. So we'll need to get hold of some contraband and put that on the ship of a trade captain. Easy enough. The Balmore Blue we can grab in the chest under the docks by talking to Captain Sabine Nett. Or just pick open the lock since we already know where the chest is. From here, it's another simple slip in and plant the goods, making sure that there are no witnesses to our actions. By the time we get back to Errand, Volf is already on his way to prison, and any doors the guild might need opened will be that much easier to do in Solitude. Now on to Windtown, where we've gotten word that a rival Thieves Guild has started up that murders their marks. Hey, to be fair, we never killed our marks, just everyone around them. Torsten's daughter, Fjotli, was killed by this group. He found the killer, but his family heirloom is still gone, and he wants it back. So, he gets the locket back, and we get to take down a rival guild. It's a win-win. Our lead is Niranye. She's an ex-guild fence who was threatened into working for the Somerset Shadows, and warns us that the group is camped out in the Uttering Hills cave. But their leader, Linway, is a monster. He steals from the dead. How utterly despicable. Don't ask how we got most of this gold. But you know the drill with these caves. We enter, then exit slightly bloodier than when we entered. The Somerset Shadows are gone and the locket is returned, meaning we just need 2 more quests in Markarth. There's just one small problem. When Vex and Delvin give you these Radiant quests, it'll randomly give you a location in either Markarth, Solitude, Whiterun, Windhelm, or Riften. When we start, it's a 1 in 5 chance that we hit Riften, which is a dud. Now, since we've only got Markarth left, it's a 1 in 5 chance that we hit what we need. But we only need 2 more, so what, it's a 1 in 5 twice? That shouldn't be too bad.
Can you give me Markarth immediately? Markarth. That's Solitude. Nope. Markarth. In 2. Whiterun. Nope. Whiterun. Fuck you, Vex. Is it? Whiterun. Damn you. Now, 5 should be there. If it's a 1 in 5, then in 5, it should be here. That's not how statistics works, but it could. It could work, and it doesn't. Come on. What you got for me? Solitude. That's Whiterun again. Windhelm. God. It's a 20% chance. Riften. Nope, that's not it. Did we get it? Windhelm. Riften. God damn it. So how's everyone doing? How's your day gone? That's Winter. Fuck! Yep, no, that's Riften. Whiterun. Vex, come on, please. Windhelm. Riften, please. It's a 1 in 5. Solitude. I'm doing the damn maths on this. Give me a second here. In order to not get it 20 times in a row, it's 0.8 to the power of 20, which is roughly a 1% chance. Burglary job. Whiterun. Number 19. I'm begging, please. Please, Vex, stop giving me do job first, get drunk second. Windhelm. Alright, give me the damn job. Windhelm. Please, Vex. It doesn't matter what the job actually is. Just give me Solitude. No, that's Riften. This'll make for a fun part in the video, alright? It'll make this all worthwhile. Please give me... What do I have to do, Vex? What do I have to do? Do job first, get drunk second. I promise you, I will do the job first and get drunk second. You didn't even give me a quest. You gave me no job instead of marker. Whiterun. There must be some item you want stolen in Markarth, right? Solitude. Whiterun. Okay, you know what? I know it doesn't matter. Give me a shield job. Consider it done. If you give me a shield job immediately, if you give me a shield... I need a minute! Right, Delvin, buddy. Alright, please don't do this again. Delvin, do me a solid. Give me a number jobs in Markarth right now. Be a bro. You're a shithead, okay? Whiterun. Oh, we're gonna be here a while. Every time I see the shield job now, I'm like, oh, we got Markarth, yay! No, it's this, Delvin. Come on. Yes! That one was in 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4!
So the Markarth special quest is basically the same as the Windhelm quest. An item was stolen and the owner wants it back, just with bandits instead of a rival group of thieves. But f*** it, we need a break from mentioning Markarth for a while. Instead, let's join up with Carly and Byro to pledge ourselves to that super secret club of Nightingales. All it costs us is unending service to Nocturne in the afterlife. Are we sure this isn't a cult? But now that we are a member of this little club, Carly explains that Mercy has stolen a Daedric item from the temple, the skeleton key, which has pissed off Nocturne and caused our luck to run dry. Yeah, we know. 28 tries! Alright, fine, we'll go do that last bloody quest in Markarth. Endon in Markarth points us in the direction of the location of the group of bandits that he believes has stolen the shipment, offering us payment and help keeping the guild active in here. As it just so happens, Pinewatch is right next to one of our manors, so we'll go introduce ourselves to our neighbor and have a little chat about this whole situation. 3 guesses what happens in the time between us pushing this button and walking out of the place with the silver mold. We throw the mold back at Udon, and just like that, we've got all 4 quests finished. Now we just need to clear up the main Thieves Guild story. But since we're out near Illinalt's Deep, we might as well go peek inside and see if that guy ever did find Azura's star. Yeesh, if this thing's the star, I'm not really sure how it helped to keep the guy alive. There's not much else here except a pile of old bones, including Malon's. Also, this thing is kinda screaming at me to feed it more souls. Should it be doing this? I don't think this should be doing this. We should probably go see someone about it doing this. According to Nectar Points, Melvin was actually able to willingly trap his own soul into the star, but it was never designed to house this kind of soul, so it needs more and more souls in order to stop itself from falling apart. We can't fix the star with the soul still inside, but we can't get him out while we're still here. Somebody'll have to go inside the star and kill him, then be brought back out. I guess the one wearing the ebony and Daedric armor should be the one sent in, huh? Melvin puts up quite the fight, especially with the 3 backup from powerful enemies that give even Spellbreaker some trouble. But it's at times like these where Berserker Rage stands out once again. With Melvin gone, Nectar Point is able to fix up the star, altering it from Azura's star to the much more useful Black Star, a reusable black soul gem that still counts as a Daedric artifact. Now back to the whole Mercy thing. Thanks to the plans we've found, we already know where he's currently off gallivanting in search of treasure, so we've got to catch up to him ASAP. It's another Dwemer ruin filled with betrayed that proved to be more of a heavy armor grind than challenge. So much so, we even whacked the difficulty up to expert, so they have more HP for us to chew through for one-handed experience. Though we might have underestimated how much more damage they'll do now.
There we go. And then we'll just chug another potion, because we've got plenty of them, yeah? Okay. Come on. And again. You fucking killed me. You...
Stupidity aside, once we've cleared through the dungeon, we find Mercy already stuffing the eyes into his pockets before starting a grandiose speech about just how great he is. Now, he might be a thief with unlocked and unlimited potential, but we're a Dragonborn who can do cool vape tricks, so stick that in your back pocket and smoke it, bitch. Uh-oh. So, sit rep. The roof is collapsing in on us, the door won't budge, and what space is left in the room is filling with water. Thankfully, our brilliant strategy of wait and see if it sorts itself out works! Soggy but surviving, all that's left to do is return the key. A simple task made not so simple by the fact that when the key gets removed, we also lose access to the place where we need to put the bloody thing. Down in the Twilight Sepulchre, we meet with the spirit of Gallium, who tells us that we'll have to complete the Path of the Pilgrim in order to reach the inner chamber. It's basically like all the other ancient Nordic ruins we've been in, but this one has puzzles in it. Ones like kill all the angry spirits, the light burns, put out some candles, and throw yourself down a hole. With the key returned and our connection to Nocturnal restored, she comes to greet us herself and say, "Congratulations, you did the thing you were supposed to do," and then fucks off. At least finishing the quest gets us Darkness Returns. And speaking of returning, once we get back to the Thieves Guild, thanks to all our hard work over the last 6 hours, Byro and the rest congratulate us on all our efforts and make us the leader of the guild with some new armor and the One with the Shadows achievement. And now we go from cut purse to cut throat. After a minor incident with the Folkreath guards, we get to the black door and give it the passphrase to enter. Inside, we're greeted by Arshat and begin our new occupation as an assassin to get with friends like these. For now, we don't have anything big planned, so instead we'll just have to deal with the small contracts that come in from time to time. The first three we've got are Nafi in Iverstead, Enodius Papius on the outskirts of Windhelm, and Batilde in Dawnstar. Apparently, we've already killed Nafi some time ago, so that makes this a little easier for us, but our plan is to use these contracts as a means to get the 1,000 gold bounty in every one of the holds. For Batilde, that's no issue at all, but Enonius stays out in the middle of nowhere, so nobody's around to witness his death. When we head back to the sanctuary, that funny little man has shown up with his mother. Aw, he even remembers us. That's nice. Since we've now killed some time, Arshat has a proper contract for us in Markarth. At least we've already killed this guy too, all the way back while doing Lost to the Ages. Muriri isn't super happy he's already dead, but she won't be too long for this world since we bash her head in for the bounty in Markarth. From here, the blood just starts a-flowing. Remember, if the punishment is only a fine, that just means it's legal for a price. Back with the Brotherhood, Arshat is concerned that Sisyphus might be plotting something and wants us to find out what. Our only spot to stay hidden and eavesdrop on this conversation is inside the coffin of the Night Mother, though. It's a bit cramped and musty in here, but I guess it'll do. Also, we're not sure if this forms an airtight seal in here leading to oxygen deprivation or not, but the Night Mother starts talking to us in our head and tells us that we're the listener, much to Sisyphus's delight. Arshat is rather taken aback at the idea of us following the voice in our head to a random Nordic ruin in the middle of nowhere, so has us go do some small contracts while she thinks it over. Two heads bashed in later, and it's decided that we should look into this contract in Vollenrund. Inside the ruin, we speak with the guy who's got a contract out to kill a multitude of people, culminating with the assassination of the Emperor. Sounds like a good time. While we're here in Vollenrund, we also quickly clear out the side quest Silenced Tongues, since we still need to tick off a few more of those and also grab a new vape trick that's here. Actually, we never properly finished one of the side quests in Solstheim, so we quickly pop over to see Greasy Creasy again to make sure that we don't waste any time doing more side quests than we need to. We hand over the sealed letter we were given to Arshat, along with the amulet meant to help finance these assassinations for her to peruse over. And while she does that, that's right, we're off to see Dublin to get the amulet appraised. He's more than happy to buy it off us and gives us a slip worth 15 grand in credit. Quite the little necklace we had there. Now on to the killing. First on the list of victims is one Victoria Vici, the Emperor's cousin who's also getting married. Oh, that's nice. She's a simple kill, really. All we have to do is knock over this statue while she's out on the balcony and boom! She smushed and nobody even saw us do it. Man, this killing business is easy. Before we go running back to the Brotherhood, there's another Daedric quest we can do here in Dawnstar. This chappy here, Silas Vesuvius, has a family history with an old cult. He wants to get the 3 pieces of a dagger that are scattered all across Skyrim, and wants us to do all the legwork so he can restore it. First up is Morthal. We managed to talk to this guy who's been keeping a part in his family for 8 generations into just giving it away to us. The second bunch of pieces we find down in the vaults of the Cracktusk Keep, which don't give us too much trouble grabbing, but the pommel? That's tucked all the way up in the mountainside of Dead Crone Rook. Not exactly an easy place for us to get to, but that's what we've got this Skyrim horse for! Oh shit! No, my horse! Had a Skyrim horse for. Second time around, this time following the road most of the way, and instead of trying to use the horse, we'll just take these obvious and conveniently placed set of stairs up to grab the pommel, as well as the 20th unique Fate trick for Thum Master. We hand back all of the pieces to Silo, who asks us to accompany him to the Shrine of Maroon Bagel, where he can attempt to get the dagger restored. Sadly for Silo, Bagel doesn't really care for the fop, so asks us to kill him, and then he'll fix the dagger. What's one more body?
I'm not dying without a fight.
Sadly, this dagger is even more underwhelming than the Wabberjack, but good news is that it's the 14th out of the 15 artifacts we need. Down in the Dark Brotherhood, Assad is delighted to hear Vini Vidi Vici is dead, and we're well on the path this assassination contract has started, getting us the Bound Until Death achievement before being sent on to Gabriella, who's been working on the second target, the son of the Emperor's personal guard, Gaius Maro. We're gonna make it look like he's involved with a plot to kill the Emperor, just to really mess with Commander Maro. Sounds good and all, but how about we also finish getting those Daedric artifacts? Let's head to the Orc stronghold Lagerspur that's currently being cursed because their leader, Yamar, let a bunch of giants take up home in the shrine to Malakath. Oh boy, who'd have thought that another of these quests would just be a Daedric prince is pissed off, go unpiss him off. Yamaha isn't too happy for us getting him called out for being a beta cuck in front of all the homies, so demands that we come escort him the entire way to where he needs to go deal with the giant problem. We might have done too good a job though and accidentally already killed the giant he was supposed to. What's one more body? Yamaha is actually kind of relieved that he didn't have to fight the giant. However, he obviously can't have us go back telling everyone he was a bitch about this, so tries to kill us. But he literally can't.
Okay, good luck. Go on, I'll let you take some swings at me. No, you got this, you got this. Okay, you're just swinging sideways. And like, I get it, you're trying to find like weaknesses in my plate, but they don't exist. Try maybe dislocating my shoulder. Go for like an overhand chop. I mean, you could try it. It won't work, but you could try it. Like, look, watch. See, look at that. Even after I hit your shield arm, I mostly did damage to your shoulder there.
I submit.
Mate, oh, come on. You're at like 2/3 health.
At least Malakath was happy to see this man-child get packed up and wants us to bring back the Giants Club to Lagerspur, where we put Yamaha on blast one last time, and get gifted Volendron, marking off our 15th Daedric artifact for Oblivion Walker. Now we go back to Breeze Home to dump off a bunch of useless junk and get some setup going for our late game plans. And speaking of plans, we head on over to Dragonbridge to yoink the travel plans of Gaius, so we'll know exactly when and where he'll be for us to murder, which ends up being right back to Whiterun. Ah well, another easy kill for us. Sadly, it's not all sunshines and stabbings at the Sanctuary. It's more slashings, as Sisyphus has tried to kill everyone here and then fled the place. According to his diary, there's another Dark Brotherhood sanctuary up in Dawnstar. We've already seen the door, but let's pretend we haven't. But only he's been able to learn the passphrase, so that's likely where he's run off to. Assat wants us to go find him and gives us the reins to Shadowmare to make the job easier. Finally! A horse we can't accidentally kill. Outside the door, Anchor Arms is sitting in the pool of blood and confirms that yes, Sisyphus has gone through the door, but he's just as wounded as he is. After running through the old sanctuary, listening to Sisyphus plead his case, we find him huddled up beside a fire for warmth, or maybe just to cauterize his wounds. We say nothing, drop a healing potion, and walk away. He did nothing wrong. Still, we've got to make our blade look bloody, so after bumping up the difficulty to Legendary, we whack away at Shadowmare to take our one-handed back up to level 50 from Legendary.
So I didn't intend to do that.
We also try to do something similar with our smithing skill, since we'll need that at level 80 for one of the achievements we forgot about before resetting the skill. Thankfully, there's a spot we can do that in at the Sanctuary. We lie to Assad about Sisyphus' death, and with that intentional tangent done, it's over to Festus for the next part of the contract. The Gourmet, a highly elusive but famous chef, is currently somewhere in Skyrim, having been hired to cook for the Emperor. The problem is that highly elusive part, as nobody knows who they bloody are. Festive here, though, found found a signed copy of their cookbook made out to one Anton Varan, the cook in Markarth. Well, now the plan is simple. Step 1, get whatever information about the gourmet Anton has, then kill him. Step 2, track down the gourmet, steal their rite of passage so we can take their place, then kill them. Step 3, infiltrate the kitchens of Solitude to get closer to the Emperor, then kill him. Step 1 and 2 go by without any issue, but when we step outside real quick to look for a fast side quest or two to do, well...
Oh, there's some dragon going around the place. Okay. Guys, the Dawn Star Sanctuary door's gone. That's probably bad. Huh. So, that's, interesting to say the least. We've got an idea. Let me just go and, right, player, move to here. Please let me into the damn home.
The bugs won't stop us now. It's time to kill the Emperor. Asshat gives us a very strong poison that'll be a surefire option, as well as arranging for a back route to be open to us for a quick escape. Time for step 3. We walk right on up to Commander Mario, and given the stress of his job, with just a wave of the writ, he lets us head on in. We make some good soup and opt to leave the Jaren route out, mainly so we get to watch him try and eat this dish before killing him ourselves. Now to just slip out quietly through the back passage to... Oh, this was a setup. Mario was going to trade our life for the rest of the Dark Brotherhood, but since we killed his son, he's not exactly happy about this trade. Thankfully, not every guard here is caught up with why we're being arrested, so we get to walk out with a slap on the wrist and book it back to Falkreath to see the sanctuary already up in smoke. Inside, in another oxygen-deprived state, the Night Mother tells us to climb into her coffin, then we fall out the window. That's probably not the best plan, but we don't exactly have any other choice, so let's just hope this works. With the fires dying down now, along with 90% of the people here, we pay a visit to Asshat, doing her best Night Mother cosplay, to hear her talk about how it was all her fault, how she abandoned the old ways and betrayed us, causing this whole awful situation. Yeah, sure, whatever. With Asshat sorted out, we let Nappy know the Emperor's contract is still on, so we're gonna go pay Almond another visit and finish off what we started. We also talked to these Redguard people who've been standing around the gate at Whiterun for quite a while now. They're looking for another Redguard woman who's likely somewhere in the city. Guess we'll keep our eyes peeled. In the tavern, Almond is almost shocked to see us, but happily surprised to hear that we're still trying to kill the Emperor, letting us know he's currently aboard the docked ship, the Kataraya, in Solitude. Oh hey, a Redguard lass. She's not the happiest to hear that some assassins from Hammerfell are looking for her, and asks if we could do something to get rid of them. Apparently, one of the Alakir has wound up in prison, so we broker a little deal. For paying off his bounty, he gives us the location of where the rest of his now ex-group are camping out, Swindler's Den. Shouldn't be too bad a play.
Ah, shit! Which means that... Oh, fuck! Wow.
Oh, right, legendary difficulty. Probably best to keep that for grinding only. The Alakir leader, Kamatu, wants to have a little chat with us, but look at all that potential XP lying around here. At least the good news for Saddle is that she doesn't have any assassins to worry about anymore, and even better news, that was our 10th side quest, so we get sideways. Now, back to the planned killing. We go saunter down to the docks to find dear old Mario, who isn't too happy to see us still breathing, making sure to let him swing first at us before slapping him upside the head in self-defense. Then we take a little dip into the water to get onto the Kataraya. As we've grown accustomed to, any new place filled with people is short-lived, till we come face to face with Emperor Titus Mede II. He's actually rather amenable to us, only requesting that once he's dead, all we do is kill whoever orchestrated the plan. We mull over our options for how to kill him and make our choice.
I won't fight you.
That's fine.
We may as well
Oh! Oh! I just beat him to death! That's Delver! That got me Delver!
You've gotta love how these things work out. Back in Whiterun, we do the same thing to Almond, though mostly for making our payment be all the way out in Vollenrund. But hey, at least it was a hefty 20 grand. Just a shame we don't have a use for all this now. We also spend a couple more minutes auditioning for a part-time job with Peter on Shadowmere to grind up just a touch more to tick over to level 50 for Master. Then head back to Nappy to tell him we're done being an assassin and keeping the 20 grand now that we've got Hail Sithis for finishing their quest line. At least we get to say goodbye to Sisyphus. Actually, now I think about it, maybe we do have a use for that 20,000 gold. That much gold would be able to put a good dent in the first semester of that college we inadvertently signed up for when we were looking for the Elder Scrolls. Guess it wouldn't be a bad idea to take a look at this education stuff. First First up is the easy stuff with Tolfdir, wards. Those are so easy, even a shield can do it. After this little demonstration, Tolfdir suggests a lot of us freshmen all go visit the excursion site of Sarthol. There's definitely plenty of grunt work, learning opportunities for us there. We get lumped with Arniel, who has us picking up a bunch of slightly magical items. Fantastic. Oh great, and now we're trapped in here. I didn't even want to do magic! At least the necklace is useful enough to help us break open the wall, revealing a long series of passageways and rooms filled with Draugr. Now those are more our speed. The dude freezing time to come tell us about a future filled with dangers and perils that could change the fate of the world was a nice touch too. Now we might not be a mage, but the giant floating marble that's making a Draugr impervious to all damage is probably magic. Thanks to a little hocus pocus from Tolfdir, we're able to take down the Draugr and have a closer look at this, thing. Yep. Taste test confirms. Definitely magic. We should probably let the Archmage know a magical doodad has been found. He appreciates the update and asks if we can go and pop up and see Durag in the library. Sorry, the Arcanium, as he might have something with relevant information on what this orb is. And apparently he does have some books that might be relevant. Or rather, he did have. They were taken by some twat when they ran off to Felglow Keep. Right, then I guess we'll go get them back now. The books are being held by a mage calling themselves the Caller, who we ask nicely to give the books back, and then stab anyway for our troubles in wasting our time. Oh, shit. Okay, new plan. Bum rush her and take the books after. Bonk, bonk. Uh-oh. Oh good, she's dead. There we go. For our troubles, we get a bunch of useless mage-related skill books after already getting Reader. Thanks a bunch, you cheap bastard. I'm going back to Tolfdir. He's had some more time to ponder the Eye of Magnus, as we're now calling it. We'd love to hear more about it, but Ancano interrupts our chat to let us know that someone from that group that warned us about the impending doom is here to see us in person. He does the whole time-stopping thing again to tell us
You're not supposed to name it.
Once you name it, you start getting attached to it. Now put that thing back where it came from, or so help me!
Or rather, we should have, because now it's too late, so good luck dealing with the aftermath. Apparently, the Augur of Dunlane would be of some help to us, so with a little digging, we end up down in the dingy midden and face with this thing? Apparently, it's the Augur, but a fat lot of help they are. They only speak in vague riddles about what we seek and what we need. And apparently, that's the staff of Magnus. Saviavi is proud of us taking initiative in seeking out the confidential secret under the college and thinks that it's only right to nominate us to do all the legwork to find the staff. Great. According to Mirabelle, a couple of months ago, a group of people from the Synod came to the college looking for information about it and the ruins of Mzulft. Guess we're off to another Dwemer ruin looking for an incredibly powerful artifact. The first thing we see when we get to Mzulft is this guy slumped against the wall, who coughs out his last words to us about founding some guy in the observatory at the other end of this nice big ruin full of Dwemer contraptions and betrayed. When we eventually find this observatory, the last surviving member of the Synod group unlocks the door and tells us they need some kind of crystal thing in order to work the machine next door. Luckily, we've had experience working these kind of machines, so jam that crystal in, then mash the buttons till it starts working. Well, sorta working. Apparently, there's a big magical energy at Winterhold distorting the view. That and some place called Labyrinthian, which is likely the spot of the staff we need. On the way back to Winterhold, that Sigit guy shows up again to tell us we should head back to Winterhold right away. I mean, that's what we were doing, but thanks, I guess? Guess the reason for the urgency is that Articuno is dicking around with the orb, and our attempts to stop him aren't exactly successful. At least we're successful in revealing the unseen. With Saviavi now dead from that explosion that totally wasn't our fault, we talk to Marble about heading to Labyrinthian, who hands us a giant knocker from Labyrinthian she was given by Savi. Huh. What a weird coincidence. Glad we have this, though. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to so much as open the door to this place. After several ghosts retelling stories of moments from the past, a fight with a bone dragon, and an ominous voice calling out to us, we find a huge chamber with 2 more ghosts and one of those dragon priests like in Solstheim. More importantly, though, he has that staff! Well, not for long anyway. Our exit with the staff is interrupted by this guy, but we've had enough of these bloody mages popping up to talk to us. So remember that barrier Articuno put up? Well, now he's expanded it to the entire college. Thankfully, the staff we have basically just saps away magicka, so with it in hand, we can take down this barrier. Just like the Draugr when we first found the orb, Articuno has tapped the power of this orb to make himself invulnerable to all harm. Now we have no idea the hocus pocus Tolfdir did the last time this happened, so we resort to our trusty new stick, which seems to do the trick, letting us twat the bastard 3 times till he's dead. With the threat defeated, the Sigil Order pops up to congratulate us, proclaim us as the new Archmage, and yoink the orb away for our own good, leaving behind find the Eye of Magnus achievement, and us free to continue our pursuit of knowledge. Hold on, knowledge. Oh, piss. We've been going about this education thing all wrong. Who needs to pay money and spend years learning when you can just go visit Apocrypha and Hermie for a wealth of infinite knowledge? Time to head back to Solstheim, methinks. We've got to go find 30 locations around here, like the 100 we had to do back in Skyrim, and with only 9 so far, on our way to finish up some quests, we'll stop by whatever locations are close to wherever we're going, and that first place is Fort Frostmoth, where the attacks on Raven Rock have been coming from. As it so happens, some necromancer was trying to resurrect the remains of an old general who's been dead some 200 years. While successful, he didn't exactly take commands and was just a paranoid guy who thought he was still fighting a war. Great job, necromancer, thanks for this. He also turns out to be absolutely jacked out of his mind, but chugging full heals after every attack is enough to get us through the bastard. With the good news delivered to Veleth, and thanks to our reputation, they've some more work for us from a council member. Apparently, there's a plot to have the head council member assassinated, and Adril Arno needs our help in proving or stopping it. Why do I feel like I'm talking to Deli again? Adril's problem is that since Raven Rock is so small, he can't make any moves without his suspects in House Hulan already knowing about it. That's where we come in. Gelger's Santry points us in the direction of the temple where someone has been leaving offerings to the Ulan tomb. Whoever it is might be in cahoots with this plot. Our little stakeout in the tomb pays off as one Talisu Severin walks in to place an offering. Now, annoyingly, when we confront her, she insists that she's just here to observe tradition and not part of some conspiracy or assassination. So with this lead cold, we steal our house key to prove she lied to us by breaking into her house and stealing any damning evidence, thus proving we were justified in our suspicions. With the legally obtained evidence now in Adderall's hands, we head to the Asphalt Citadel mentioned in the letter to deal with these assassins posted there. Once we take out the Morag Tong and House Severin members, the threat on the Councillor's life is no more, and we're rewarded with the house we already have a key for, earning us Raven Rock owner. Also, while we were talking to people around the place, the mention of some figure, Mirak, and a temple to them kept cropping up. Wait, isn't that the name of the bastard who sent those cultists to shank us some 35 hours ago? When we explore this temple, everyone here seems to be muttering in a drone about the return of Mirak while they toil away. Well, everyone except this Nord lass who's trying to get her people back home. According to Freya, this is all the work of Mirak, who's been corrupting the minds of the people and the very land itself. Well, she wants to save her people, and we want to kill the twat who attacked us, so what better reason is there for a team up through the temple? And would you look at that? Another black book's being stored inside. This one actually takes us right to meet with Mickey, who taunts us by flexing his vape trick skills before booting us back out of the book. So, good news, we know where Mickey's hiding and get to leave the temple with another achievement. Bad news is we can't do anything to him even if we could get back to him. So it's off to see Storn in the Skull Village, who points us to Searing's Watch, the place where Mickey first learnt his powers. Nice thing about heading here to learn the vape trick is this location also happens to be our 30th location in Solstheim, getting us Solstheim Explorer. Hell, there's even a dragon here to unlock the shout right away! Oh, you utter bastard! Guess we'll just have to use one of the 8 souls we've already got, then go test out this vape trick on several of those Allmaker stones. With the Skull Village looking like an actual village again, Storn is more amenable to helping us. And by helping us, we mean tell us about Neloth, a wizard who's studying these books so he can go help us. Before we trek all the way out to Nightquill, we actually leave then come back to the Skull Village. Doing this triggers the start of the quest, A New Source of Stalrim, a quest that we need to do for another achievement but can easily get locked out of if one specific NPC is killed. Apparently, Baldur, that specific NPC, has gone missing, so it's up to us to go around and find where the bugger has gone off to. There have also been some Thalmor spotted around the place, so we head to the not-so-abandoned lodge where, get this, the group who kidnap people and torture them for information had kidnapped the guy and were torturing him for information. The rest of this Thalmor scouting party are all based out in the north on a boat. Apparently, they'd found a map to a large Stalrim deposit and needed Baldur to teach them how to smith with the stuff in order to be able to use it. Too bad they're all dead now. If only they'd asked nicely to learn those skills like we did. We'll need level 80 smithing to get the ebony smithing perk again, but once we do, we'll grab Stalrim Crafter. Right, now we can head out to Neloth, making sure to say hi to the best character in the game, Dusty, before we pop into his treehouse for a chat. Nyquil is well read in these black books, even having one right there, but apparently it's not related to any of Mickey's shenanigans going on. Good news though, there's another black book he knows of that might be connected, and it's in another fucking Dwemer ruin. Oh, for piss sake. Annoyingly too, the book is so agonizingly close there in the center of the floor, but we just can't clip into this one either. We're supposed to go use a series of power cubes to raise and lower the water level in this place, but remember the Radaway skip we did before? Yeah, we can pretty much do the same thing here again to save a bunch of time.
I don't know if this will work. If it does, then we're just the greatest. Yes, 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 yes! We're the greatest! There's an invisible wall right there, but... Fuck you, Ted Skyrim! Get a running jump. And hope I don't screw up the button presses. Yes, 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 yes! Haha!
With the 5 cubes collected and now powering the steam pumps, we go back to the main room and claim our prize, the Black Book, which is also our 5th, unlocking the Path of Knowledge. Then, after finishing the book, we're greeted by Herman, who's actually happy to see us and gives us the 2nd word of power for Bend Will, because apparently it was Herman who taught Mickey everything he knows. He'd also be happy to teach us the 3rd word too, in exchange for the secrets of the skull. Yes, we should go talk to them again and see if they'd be down for a trade? No? Okay, we've restored all the Allmaker stones. Will you give up the secrets of the skull to the Daedric Lord of Knowledge now? Good! Here, just take this book and write down the... I'm not sure we can show this. Oh, and really, Hermie, you had to go and burn the word into the guy's chest? Silver lining, though, at least we have the power to go fight Mickey in the book now. After a rather lengthy series of corridors, we come to a huge, not obvious boss arena area with the last word of dragon aspect. Once we learn this, we get the achievement of the same name for unlocking all 3 words. All the ruckus on the way here has gotten the attention of one of the dragons Mickey has under his command, Sarathar. But with our fancy super awesome vape trick, they're so impressed with us, they let us ride on their back to reach a spot only a dragon could reach. Why does that sound so familiar? Anyway, at the summit of Apocrypha, we face Mickey again, and this time we get to swing our swords at him. Despite healing up a couple of times, eventually Hermie comes in, and he's not happy with Mickey, finishing him off for us and getting us the achievement for finishing the quest line. You know, sometimes befriending a Daedric prince has its perks. Oh, and speaking of perks, finishing this book gets us the 5th perk from a Black Book for hidden knowledge. Now, just to get the last 3 achievements. First on the list is Dragon Rider, where we'll need to ride 5 different dragons after using Bend Will. Apparently this achievement can be a bit buggy, but if you wait for the dragon to turn hostile again and then kill it, it should help? Maybe? Either way, we've got a few spots we already know where there are dragons to be found, so it's time for a whirlwind sprint across Skyrim. First is just northwest of the Shrine to Peri Peri's source. Second is right behind the Shrine to Murray Daycare. Next up was east of the Ancestor Glade, through a cave to Ancient Ascent. Side note, why are all of these dragons frost dragons? Fourth, we go north of Felgrow Keep and up the mountain, and since the one we rode in Apocrypha counts to the total, that's the 5th one we needed. Now for the final exploits we're doing with Skyrim. We still need to get to level 78 to start getting legendary dragons to spawn, and the fastest way we know to get levels is the Infinite Ogma Infinium. First, we're going to use the bookshelf in Breezehome to duplicate the book by taking it off the shelf and taking it out of the bookshelf in the menu to give us about 10 to 15 copies. By having multiple books on the shelf at once, this makes it a little easier and faster to do. But why do we even need so many copies? The special edition patched out the old glitch of infinite uses for the book by making it so that reading it multiple times doesn't give multiple skill levels. Well, that's where the second exploit comes in. If you're fast enough, and by fast enough we mean mashing the button roughly every 16 milliseconds, then you can open multiple copies of the book at once. Since the game hasn't set the flag for has read the Ogma Infinium till after we finish reading all the copies, we can get a silly amount of skill levels. It takes a bit of practice, but eventually we're able to open the book 28 times, rocketing all the mage skills up to 100 along with most of the thief and warrior skills to boot. Even doing this, it's only just enough experience to get us up to level 79, one higher than what we needed. Now with the Ebony Smithing perk again, we can go smith with Starum to get us Starum Crafter, and fight the convenient legendary dragon spawn in Archwind Pass for legend, and the final achievement in Skyrim. Wait, what? What are we missing? Oh shit, Odoving! With Otajoy still stuck in the trap, we use Bend Will on them, then free them, and hop on for a trip to Skuldafn. This place is meant to be a bit of a gauntlet with a ton of Draugr and even a couple of dragons intended to stop us, but since we're stupidly high level, we just run past everything we can. Even the Dragon Priest guarding the portal to Sovngarde doesn't get a chance to so much as touch the staff before we take him out and jump in. Sovngarde is nice. Honestly, I'm not sure why the Nords would want to come here. It's just a bunch of grassy paths with a giant dragon lurking inside the fog to eat your soul. The bridge across to whatever the large building is blocked off by this unit of a lad, but once we beat down Sun, he now thinks we're worthy enough to go on in and talk with those 3 old Nord heroes who sent Aldi to our time, and they agree to help us defeat him. Again. After what amounts to little more than an overly long series of call and responses, Aldi shows up and 8 seconds after he lands, he's defeated, and with a triumphant explosion, Dragon Slayer is ours, and that's the final achievement in a tad over 48 hours. Ah, Skyrim. A marvel and shining example of trying to put everything in the kitchen sink into a game. With such an expansive and open-ended story to make your own, it's easy to get absorbed into every little nook and cranny the game gives you, even if those might reveal a few things the devs didn't want you to see. While this game does have its moments of being a mile long but an inch deep, with stunted combat mechanics that get samey after an hour, and some unfinished areas like the Civil War that leave us thinking of what might have been, throw in a modding scene spanning that decade-long journey with well over 100,000 mods, and it's easy to see why Skyrim's a game people come back to over and over again. Admit it, you've been alt-tabbed looking at new mods to install while we've been talking, haven't you? Skyrim's a solid 7 out of 10 base game from which to create your own custom experience. We would say that modding out the bugs and performance issues is a great starting point for any player's experience, but from there, the sky's the limit. It's just a shame that you can't do this when going for achievements, but it doesn't put a dampener on things, as Skyrim isn't exactly a hard game to 100%. Barring War Hero and the Dark Brotherhood achievements being missable, you've got free reign to tackle these in whatever order you'd like, so it's a comfortable, if not long, 5 out of 10 time. As for the hardest to get, well, the fact that we had to use one of the oldest and most well-known glitches in Skyrim to shoot ourselves up to the preposterous level of 78 just to fight a single dragon should mean seeing Legend as our hardest achievement should come as no surprise here. And that was while making sure we had a guaranteed spawn for one too. Gods forbid you have to wait for one to spawn randomly. But with that, our time here is over. Thank you very much to everyone who has found, followed, and stuck around on this video. Do let us know what you'd like to see us play next time, and be sure to check out down below in the description where you can find and follow us for more content and entertainment. But until then, we have been Ultrasonic Blur, you nerds have been a fantastic audience, and we shall see you all next time. Wait, what do you mean there's a mod for that?